Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to TraderTV.live. North American stock futures back in negative territory this morning, coming off another record-setting performance for the Dow yesterday. Both the S&P and NASDAQ ending the day yesterday. Little changed after some early negativity. They're still both, though, nicely higher on the month as we head into second last trading session of March. We saw both Viacom, CBS, and Discovery down sharply again, trying to bounce back a little bit this morning following this Archegos Capital mess that we were talking about in depth yesterday. We'll take a look once again at Viacom and Discovery, Tencent Music as well, moving around here in the pre-market. So we'll take a look at that. Credit Suisse and Nomura back in negative territory this morning as well. Credit Suisse saying yesterday it could take as much as a $2 billion hit following this liquidation of this hedge fund. Recent volatility had the Dow and the S&P firmly higher, as I mentioned, on the month, 7.2%, 4.2% respectively. So still a pretty good month for those two. Coming up this morning, we're going to get Cathie Wood's Space ARKX ETF going to start trading over on the NYSE ARK exchange. We'll have a look at that. We're going to talk about PayPal as well with more crypto-related news. It's Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at North American markets. Yeah, that is the story this morning. Negativity pretty much right across the board there. Bitcoin, the only market in positive territory. Nice little bounce here, going back towards that 60,000 mark again for Bitcoin prices. Yeah, both crude, gold, about 1.5% to the downside. It's the NASDAQ, once again, guys, to the downside, though, 0.7%. Good morning, guys. It is going to be one of those days. We're back to 1,754 on the U.S. 10-year. So tech is under pressure. We have some of these growth stocks under pressure. What a day to launch a space ETF.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for it to come out. The other interesting note about that, and welcome everybody here to the show, Cathie Wood's firm easing some restrictions on, I think it was like the lifting restriction that they can of maximum 30% in a single holding. In a single stock in their holdings, and a couple other restrictions being lifted. It's an interesting day to do it with the 10-year up and probably going to feed some pressure on that ETF. I think one of the names at the top of that list in the inclusion in ARKX is going to be Trimble. So most people probably aren't familiar with it, and it's not what everyone maybe would have expected to be the heavily weighted name there. It's 8% of that index. Either way, we'll be talking about it. We'll be looking at that one when it does open upside here. But tech is going to be under pressure once again today. And there was some interesting price levels. We're going to have to talk about DraftKings, but Penn and DraftKings definitely took some hits. They're in the news. But I actually thought that there was an off chance, Sean, that we'd get to 60,000 on Bitcoin when the CME dropped that news. Was it May 3rd? We're going to get that actual contract. But anyways, we're very, very close to it. 59.5. Maybe we get there at some point today. I actually thought we had a shot before the open.
Yeah, we still do. It's still an hour to go here. And here it is here. It's it's Trimble, it's 3D printing. So here's all of the additions that are, I guess, constituents in this ETF. Interesting names to me, like JD is a name that we trade often. That's going to be on there. You see Boeing nicely in there at 3.5%. NVIDIA, the same thing at 3.5%. Deere, Amazon, Teradyne. I mean, it's all the big boys. I mean, Google, anything that's kind of like disruptive, tech, spacey type of thing. The one funny thing that I find here is Virgin Galactic is barely even touching this ETF, coming in at number 20 with only 2%. So, Netflix is in here? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, you think about Netflix, Brendan, is, when you're Netflix and chilling, that also happens in space, right? And so the thing is that as you're in space, you have nothing to do. You're sitting there in your ship or whatever, and it's time to chill out. I mean,
it's a long way to Mars, Sean. You gotta watch something.
ETF.
You have to watch something on the way to Mars.
This is a genius ETF. But anyways, there it is. ARK coming today. ARKX going to be the symbol. I don't know if Probably not going to be tradable, but we'll wait to see what happens when it does come out. Palantir near that 21 level. DraftKings cracks through 60 yesterday. It's going to be a rough ride today for sure. Tencent Music, though, nicely up a little. I mean, a little bit anyways. Some of these big stocks like Vips and Viacom, Tencent Music, all taking the opportunity here today. I don't think Viacom's done it yet, but share buyback instead of share offerings, probably a good idea right now, considering how beat down some of these stocks are. So there's Tencent Music, $32, bang, all the way down to 20 and change. So we'll see if we can get above these levels. Some key levels on Viacom today that we need to watch.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. ARKX ETF, I'm sure, throughout the morning. Netflix, interesting. Before we get going, though, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Valeria.
Good morning, Brandon, and hi, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today. I wish you a great day. Please enjoy the show, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. I want to talk about this ETF a little bit more. I was reading about it last night when the finalization was happening before it starts trading today. So it's going to be the actual ETF is going to focus on three main categories, which are orbital aerospace companies, what they're calling suborbital aerospace companies, and enabling technology firms. Take that for what you will. I'm not sure which of those categories Netflix falls under, but
the majority a lot of these are falling under the third category. Well, I'm assuming on Netflix in part, but in case of Trimble, that you're falling under the third category there because they're in everything from transportation, agriculture, as a software solutions and data solutions company. And oddly enough, of course, like literally a 61 share deprint came off just now at yesterday's close price, so it's exactly at flat on the session. But Trimble, look at the daily chart here. Of course, it's not going back far enough, but relatively stable stock that actually is rounding out towards its highs, and it's not an automatic thing to say that okay, all of a sudden it's going to be everyone's radar, and maybe it's going to push through the top at through a 79 area that we have as a high here. But I think there's a decent chance it might test it. The problem with most of these names, we're going to run into this when we start talking about most of these, because this is all tech, right? And a lot of these names are going to likely be, in the crosshairs for that weakness that we talked about with the 10-year where it is. You're just going to have a bit of that rollover. Now, I don't necessarily. I'm not gonna sit here and get into the actual nuts and bolts of why you might find something like a Netflix in there, but I think a lot of the other names are gonna make some sense. You look at your Lockheeds, you look at your Boeings already. Boeing's in line for a potential. NASA's handing out some contracts, and Boeing is always going to be in that space, and they're a leader as well. So Lockheed and Boeing make a ton of sense. One thing to always consider when you're looking at ETF, what are you already holding? Right, so you look at that list of names, and it's like, well, if I have exposure to 20% of this ETF already, consider whether it's a fit for you. But if you don't have exposure to some of those names, maybe that's appealing to you. So always something worth watching here, because especially if you look at some of the other ARK ETFs, a lot of the same names are going to be in multiple of these ETFs. So you don't want to be too overexposed in all the same, and not just industries, but same symbols.
Yeah, I'm not super excited about that ETF, but I mean, if you want to get into some space and you want to get into the space, you can obviously invest in it. I don't think it'll be a very good trade. I mean, you could check out space here as well. Virgin Galactic, it had its ups and it had its downs, and right now we're in one of those down areas here. I think I'd rather maybe invest in Virgin Galactic rather than the ETF, but you do have some bases here, 22, 23. It's spreading it out, right? So if you did want to pick 50 names and throw a dart at them all, then that ARKX is going to be for you. We have BFT on the mind today. We'll talk about that coming up soon. We have this Viacom, what I was talking about, and it's on I believe it's on our watch list. I'll have another check. We do have a big level here. It's look on the daily chart. It says 47 here on the minute chart. So we bounced up to 47 a bunch of times yesterday and failing every single time before, making its way back downside. So with some of that, unraveling right now of the hedge fund, we'll see what happens here. Margin call's over with now. I'm thinking Viacom has a chance to go back through this 47 and retest 50. So we're going to watch out for that 47 level and then watch out for 43 on the downside. So it held this $4 range today. I'm going to be into Viacom C at some point today, and it'll probably be on that break of 47. If not, then some bids down here low 43s and change. This is a little more exciting to me today.
Okay, here we go, Sean. I just pulled this up for you. 31st. So talking about PaySafe. So PSFE. So they approved it back on Thursday, it looks like, Thursday after the close. Shareholders of Foley Transamine approved the merger. So the 31st, it looks like, March 31st, it will move to PSFE, which is tomorrow. So we'll have a look at PaySafe for the first day coming up tomorrow. It usually takes a day, typically, I've found, when it comes to SPACs transitioning to their symbol. But I don't know, Sean, do you want to have a look at BFE, or BFT rather? We haven't really traded that or looked at it on the show the past couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, the volume's been okay on it. I mean, you can see here, it's been doing nothing. It's been approved. I thought there'd be more hype around the approval, but you do go from 14.34 up to 15.64. Yesterday, it was hard to find any stocks making money on the green side. So really happy with BFT. I'm a shareholder much below these prices. I actually recently bought, I remember telling you guys about this. I bought 12.74s or 12.78, something down here on that crazy day, and it's never even revisited back there. So that was a good opportunity. I think PaySafe, you just had that article up there. I think this is super undervalued right now. We'll see where it comes out at. It's $9 billion valuation. They just lit up Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and one more, Ripple, I think XRP, I believe, to take acceptance into their Skrill and their NetTeller apps. So I think that's going to be huge. It's used to fund various sports casinos and online gaming and things like that. And PaySafe, look, it's a digital wallet. It's a way to control your money worldwide. And now they're into cryptocurrencies. I love the name. You can see here on the minute chart, this was yesterday, 14.50, closes 15.50. That's straight up $1. I think it requires a little bit of research there, Brendan, like you just mentioned. What does happen to a symbol when it turns over? I think recently it's gone lower on symbol turnovers. So I don't know if it's the right idea to buy it today. We can see tomorrow when PSFE comes out. We'll see if that's going to be tradable on our platform or not. Normally, sometimes it can take a day or two for many brokers to get that symbol up. So we'll wait to see if that's going to be hitting tomorrow. But let's just pretend that this is sort of the chart for PSFE and what it looks like. Obviously, if we get above 18, then I think that's a breakout. It's already touched 20 in the past. And again, that was back in the craziness of late January. So, and then, come right back down. So like a lot of stocks did. I'm looking at BFT here in the $18 range just to see what it does. But when it turns over to PSFE, could it trade lower? It can. I think it's not really worth, if you're not in today, then I don't know if these are the right prices. It's been on a nice little move, like I said, 14 up to 16. It'll probably touch 16 or 17 today, and then we'll see what happens with PSFE. But hey, I'm a buyer of the space. I've been recently buying more Square. I want to buy more PayPal, and I think today might be a good opportunity to do that. We've trimmed off some DraftKings. I put some money into Square, put some money into AMD, missed PayPal, and I like the space.
It does feel like there's going to be some time for the fintech names to be able to come in and give you a little something in terms of better prices. So I tend to agree on that, and certainly with Square as well. I'm only going to mention this name because if we're going to talk about a blank check company, AGBAR is a blank check company that was 31 cents at the close yesterday. I can see no actionable news, but it traded up starting at 4:30 all the way up. And my charts go back to like 6 a.m., but trust me, it was bumped up to like 6 a.m., bumped up to 250 at about 6 a.m. And it's been selling off ever since because there's really nothing to it that I can find. It broke $1. I shorted it at 98. It's literally sitting at 80 cents. My plan of action today is to shorten any strength that this thing has. First into $1, and then probably into about $1.20, $1.25. But either way, when you have something and there's just no story to it, it was a penny stock for a reason. These blank check companies, I've never seen one like this where it was in the pennies and then it goes up 8x. On basically nothing. So it's a bit of a new territory here, but I'll take my shot at it for sure. I did try that CSCW. We'll get back to that. That's an NFT play. It's in our watch list, but I've taken 3 cracks, 1 for 3. It looks very strong right now. So it's only been to the short side that I've had. And I'll wait till closer to the open to trade that one. But this AGBAR, BAR seems like a complete mess to me.
Now let's go to NFT land. We haven't really talked about them over the past couple of days. They're still kind of lingering in the background. This one, though, did pop up, if you remember, going back to last week. And I speak of this Colorstar Technology. There we go. Colorstar Technology, yeah, CSCW. If you remember, guys, this day, going back to last week, This thing gapped up to $2 and then just flushed throughout the entire session. This feels different. I mean, I read through some of this news that came out this morning, and it looks very similar to what we read last week on this company. If you remember, very, very teeny tiny company, but doing all kinds of volume this morning, where the other ones, have a look at HOFV, are actually negative so far. So CSCW, interesting here.
I'm sort of kicking myself for not just going over to Hall of Fame and playing the weakness in the space in that regard, because sometimes you get these gappers and they're just entirely too strong. Just looking at the daily chart, I mean, after the day that we talked about it here that Brendan was referencing, you did have like 3 days in a row off of that same low right around this like 133. So it certainly did a good job rounding out, and this is my 15-minute chart, into this breakout. I just simply eyeballed this 220 and tried playing off that a couple of times here, and it did. The first time it didn't work out. Then I had what looked like a much better short that ran into this like $2 area and all kinds of trouble. I got into another one here. I ended up getting these shares out flat. I got a reload back in, and both these shares I ended up having to get out flat. So I average into it, get an average price like 26, and then basically get out an average price like 26, 27 with 2 entries there. So it's been a very, very mixed result for me. But look how strong this thing is off $2. If it gets below that $2 range, sure, why not? Then you watch out for that 130 support that it had that entire time. But for whatever reason, maybe I'm not seeing something in the story, or it's just getting the bull run into it. 255, 260. If that gets taken out, this one could be off to the races. I'll be much more comfortable if it actually makes a retest of that 2 even area that we couldn't get past earlier in the morning. And I think the play might be over in like HOFV, like you said, Brennan, which actually has a little bit of weakness. I think that's going to be worth talking about today. And of course, you have your W key. There's lots of other names that HOFV just sort of stood out to me. But CSCW probably will not get back into it or look at it for a short at least until we get closer to 9:30.
I don't really have any love for these names. I haven't looked at many of them, guys.
All right, well, check out some vaccine names here. We learned yesterday, late in the day, that AstraZeneca, once again, under pressure. You can see aftermarket yesterday, we had a bit of a dip to the downside. We're back to $50 here on AstraZeneca, guys. Health Canada coming out, the latest one to discontinue or suggest that their vaccine not be given to anyone below 55 years of age because of the possibility of blood clotting. So more pressure here for AZN today, down 1.6% so far.
I mean, we've traded AZN before. I made some decent money on it, breaking. I think it was through 50.50. Now you're back down below $50. Look, it's not a super sexy stock to trade. We opened up yesterday, basically. I mean, not even 9.50. Let's call it like it is here. Not 50, 60. We went as high as 51. So it's a 40-cent range yesterday with a couple dips. You just got to pay attention to sort of play the trends. VWAP important at the end of the day yesterday, and we just hovered around. Like, this is what I mean. The last half hour, you're in like a 5-cent range here. So nothing exciting for me on AstraZeneca. I have no love for that. Since we're talking about other names, though, Pfizer has been a great pickup on the daily chart here. Obviously has a strong dividend. It had that same kind of move upside when they were developing said vaccine, getting approvals, everyone really hyped about it. And then just like I mentioned, sell all the vaccine names besides J&J and you'd be okay. And that's exactly what happened. So $43 all the way down to 33, made a beautiful bottom. I mean, it bottomed out even lower back, in July, and then obviously in March down to 29. But these were pretty nice levels here, 33 and change to buy. Now you're looking at Pfizer breaking out. I mean, it's above its 50-period moving average. It took this 36, held 36, no problem, bounced a couple times to the upside before breaking it, and now you're at 36.60 and looking to trade even. Whoop, that's still AstraZeneca 1-minute chart. And now today, looking to break above this high. So I like Pfizer breaking through 36.75 today. I think that it's made its bottom. And if I was going to trade a vaccine name, I think I would trade Pfizer. Obviously, they have a lot more in the pipeline than just this. You don't have the negative tail or headwinds, I guess, not tailwinds, headwinds as AstraZeneca does. So that would be my pick, would be Pfizer breaking through 36.75. And on the imbalance locator today, it's kind of nothing. We talked about that. BFT is going to be a small buy. We've already gone over that. Palantir is approaching 21, which is a super key level. Disney, people should be selling that anyways. So there it is, up, 82,000. Other than that, man, nothing on here. So Pfizer's not on the list, but I look for 36.75 break.
Yeah, I mean, I love some Pfizer. The only thing I'll say is if I see 42 again, I would take the opportunity to trim some off because I've only added a couple times. Literally always at 34. And I actually would, if it's at a good enough price, take some off of that and maybe get into something like a Teladoc when that thing gets crushed even further. That's down at like 170 or something. And I mean, if that cracks 150, like why not? And it's certainly, you talk about rotating into that names, we're going to get some weakness in some of the, I guess, stay-at-home names and some of the tech names as well, where you might find some interesting prices, especially the way the market is trending here. So look, I love the Pfizer strength. You can count me in on that. I've never had any success day trading it, to be perfectly honest. But maybe this is going to be the catalyst if it does get that breakout. You can see the chop zone it's starting to enter into.
Guys, upgrades and downgrades time. A little bit of a quiet morning as far as what is moving in the pre-market. Quick look here, DXC. I noticed right when I sat down, up about 3% still on the Deutsche Bank upgrade. Some of the airlines showing some strength here in the pre-market. They were weak, if you remember, yesterday, so bouncing back a little bit. Nothing terribly exciting on the downgrade side of things today. I did note, though, that JP Morgan with, it was kind of it wasn't really an analyst move, but a bit of a note on Morgan Stanley when it comes to that Archegos mess. They were kind of surprised that Morgan Stanley was even involved in that with excessive risk. Yeah, airlines could be interesting today, guys.
There was another note in there, and I'm trying to remember where I read this, that possibly there was some discussion that a few firms had talked to each other about lessening the impact of having to sell, and there would be some investigation into that. And I really hope that Morgan Stanley doesn't get caught up in something like that, personally, obviously. But it is what it is. And I think Morgan, not as strong as Goldman Sachs. Sorry, I'm just gonna get away from this AGBAR because this thing is absolutely ridiculous. Literally at 27 cents. This thing might just die like the biggest death of all time. The Goldman Sachs here is still holding it like even. If Morgan Stanley is going to be, I suppose, like more negatively affected than your JPMs and your Goldman Sachs in this particular case. Like part of me says on some weakness, I was going to be buying any dip in Morgan Stanley, but maybe lessening some exposure to Morgan Stanley on any kind of a pop, and then maybe spreading it out to, like, if you want to stay in the space where you have a heavy trading influence, maybe you want to be in a Goldman or a JPM, but already have that. So you start thinking about, well, maybe BAC, something like that, just a traditional banking play. And again, this is all speculation. I have to double check to see, exactly how serious that might be. I don't know that there's going to be any real allegations that there was, multiple firms talking to each other about that selling. But either way, Goldman Sachs apparently got out of their positions really, really quickly. And saved themselves a bunch of money, and they're looking pretty good in that space. If you want to take a look at the rotation back into the banks on any kind of weakness, that one looks pretty good. I'm probably still going to be all over, Morgan Stanley if it drops into the mid 70s again. But since we're not there, I would think Goldman today would be a better buy at this particular price at least.
Yeah, this is so overdone. I mean, this Archegos has just been blown out. Who cares? I mean, it's over with. I'm not worried about any bank. I mean, this is like such small fish for these banks that it's unbelievable that they even go down. Someone said why did I get out of DraftKings? I didn't get out of it. I just trimmed it, right? Like we were talking about it. I'll show you the daily chart here. And it was right when it was up here. I think I got out when it broke. Why not? I think I know. I got out when it broke through 70. How many times, like I talked about this as this was happening, 72, 74, like 1, 2, 3. You had multiple times, like when it was up here and it dropped back down. I even said to you guys, oh man, like should have got out some at the top. And then you got a Christmas gift again when it came right back to the top. And I left some money on the table, a couple percentage points before getting out. And again, I just trimmed it out. Took out like a quarter, 30%, something like that of the position there. And it's not like anything I put my money into is really working out great, but it's working out better than this, that's for sure. DraftKings can be bought, I mean, at any time right now. We're right into that area of $60. I think this is a screaming buy, just like when I was screaming down here when it was at 55 and then went back to 74. Look, why is DraftKings getting hit? I mean, I think it's pretty simple. It's the stimmy checks didn't go into there. So a lot of people thought that, once the stimulus checks came out, a lot of these names would continue to bump higher, right? DraftKings gambling name. There's a lot of people that are into sports gambling. You have March Madness right now. End of NFL obviously hurt a little bit, but that didn't seem to matter to the stock, right? And so people just thought more of DraftKings is what I'm thinking here. And it just got overdone. It got overhyped to the upside. And now it's just taking a little bit of a breather. There's lots of stocks that look like this. We have news today about DraftKings. They continue to make moves. It was funny yesterday because we did have that news with WWE yesterday. And I don't even understand. I mean, other than advertising, World Wrestling Entertainment, although don't tell this to my 10-year-old self back in the day when we were watching it, is fake. So I don't think you're going to be gambling too much on wrestling, but if that's allowed, then I guess that's good. But anyways, it's more of a, you see Bryson DeChambeau with the DraftKings on the side of his hat. You're going to see probably that with WWE. Maybe they have DraftKings somewhere up, around the ring or different advertising spots like that. So that is what the deal is right now with DraftKings. I think it's a buy for sure. I would start, leveling into it or layering into it, I guess. If you haven't yet, this is a good start. If you're stuck up here, I'd average in. And then basically, man, down to $50, between 50 and 55, I think is a spot where, you really, really need to think about putting into some serious cash if you had any lying around into DraftKings. It's a great long-term play. I keep hearing a lot of people mentioning DraftKings as their pick for 2021. We talked along with Uber as well. I think it's a great reopen play. I think as sports come back, more people will be sitting in the stands realizing, oh man, this is boring. So they pull out their phones and they start to, baseball, look, you're going to be able to sit there and bet on plays like in the middle of innings and things like that. Live sports gambling is huge. So just get ready for DraftKings to be back on the upside. We need to go over our list here. I apologize on that, but I just saw a lot of people talking about DraftKings.
Don't get me started about in-game betting when you're sitting at a baseball game, because that'll be like the bane of my existence. I have an addictive personality, and look, I would second every single thing about that. DraftKings is. It's counterintuitive because people were staying at home and betting and gambling because there was nothing else to do. But you got to think about when sports gets that second wind and people actually get back in the stadiums. I tend to believe it in well. I like a lot of names in the space. I still like GAN in that space. I like DraftKings. I never got involved in Penn, but as that comes to the downside, you get casino exposure as well. Start to look at some places where you might even pick that one up as Penn cracks that $100 mark to the downside, Brennan.
All right, a little bit of EV news coming through. Toyota and Tesla talking about small e-SUV. Toyota possibly teaming up with Tesla. Also saw a note this morning saying that Volkswagen is going to rebrand their U.S. arm to Volts, V-O-L-T-S, Wagon of America. So they're going all in on the EV space. Speaking of the watch list, if you have not done so, make sure you take a second and head over to that address and register for the absolutely free to you morning watch list. And note, every single morning we send it out before we come on at 8:30. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you take a second and do that. Let's talk about PayPal Holdings. We discussed the ARKX Space ETF already, so we'll keep an eye on that coming up. But PayPal coming out saying that they're now going to let US-based customers pay vendors that are on their network for goods and services using cryptocurrencies starting today, guys.
Cha-ching. Yeah, so we got a big home run here, big swish for BTC holders. I don't know what this is going to do exactly for PayPal. I don't know. You're already into PayPal. They already have their customers. I don't know if more people sign up to PayPal because of this, but there it goes, man. We talked about it yesterday. I want to just hit some home runs for people that were listening to us yesterday when we were talking about this, man. We talked about it flying back down to 55, 54. And then if you look at a daily chart, this is just a minute chart. This is a 5-minute chart. Here's the daily chart again. And we talked about it bouncing off 50. Right now, you're going to test 60 again. We're wondering if it's going to break that before the market even opens today. Doesn't look like it. It's at 59.2. But we have gotten up to 60 before, right? The high, 61,720. I just think this is amazing news for anybody that's holding Bitcoin. Now it's going to be accepted. PayPal, the largest, number one, off merchandise payment system. So meaning that not paying with your Visa, not paying with MasterCard, not paying with your bank. PayPal, Best Buy. I mean, every store. Tell me a store really that doesn't have, I mean, maybe they're into with Square, but pretty much every single online vendor has PayPal acceptance. So if that's going to mean that, like, I could buy a TV from Best Buy, select PayPal, then choose which form I want to pay with, I think that's monstrous. There's so many people, including myself, this is still DraftKings, sitting on a shoot ton of crypto, and we don't want to get rid of it, but we don't mind spending a little bit of it, right? So we don't want to turn it into cash. Because again, if you turn something into cash, guess who comes calling sometimes? Yeah, I hear him. It's the tax man.
Who?
So now you're able to. Yeah, we're trying to avoid that guy.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
What
what tax man? I pay my taxes. What the hell are you talking about, Valeria? Anyways, PayPal. Look, it's going to be a good one. I like it, and I just think that more people able to turn crypto into actual goods is huge. I've been waiting for that for a long time. I invested earlier in a company called 10X. That shitcoin went to hell. But now PayPal taking over, going to accept payments, and now you're going to wait to see PayPal busting out, man. I look out for this 255, 260. But again, PayPal's stuck in the tech wreck right now. So as long as the NASDAQ is down, you can see this isn't moving the needle at all for PayPal. Everybody expected this sort of to come. So I'll just continue to watch BTC and cheer on my crypto fanboys.
Yeah, cheer on 60,000. Throw a bid at like 226 or something like that on PayPal. It never, like, if you're not in something like this and you're looking for exposure, this is the time to just have bids in front of support if you're looking to get in. So just be patient with it. I think you can play that a little bit of a game. Just a bit of an interesting. I'm going to go back just a quick second here. I know we have to go to Arun, but I have this position, and I actually just got back into Admiral Agbar, or whatever we're going to call this piece of nonsense. This AGB. AR, whatever you want to call it, guys, just had a spike into like 80, so I took more shares, and it's just immediately giving me like 75, 76s. But there's this clown, and of course, this is like a million days in a row that, for whatever reason, the level 2 I'm showing you doesn't want to change with me. So bear with me as I actually get this symbol up. Yeah, this is like 200 shares and has been sitting here just taking as many as possible at that level. Just keeps appearing as an iceberg order. I literally just got in at 79, and then this seller showed up at 76. This thing started at 250. I didn't short it till like a buck. The dollar broke, and I just added shares at 79. I'm probably going to be short this thing as long as it's below a dollar, and there's still massive sellers that come into this stock.
To Arun, have a look at the overall market, check out the futures here, see what levels we need to be aware of this morning. It's a little more negative here in the past little while, Arun, but I mean, overall, we're still kind of stuck in this range.
Yeah, that has been the story for the last 2 weeks now. We've gone from one range to the next. And when we actually broke out on Friday, that had the best chance of actually expanding and getting going. And as we came down yesterday, and we got as high as 36.70 or so, around 36.70 in the pre-market, came down into the 45s. And there were some, I mentioned some resistance around the 39.55 area. So if we had gotten under 40 was when I would go long. I would look for some long. So 39.40 down to 39.15 was where I was looking long, and I'd be hesitant above 39.55. Turns out that seller is much larger. That area is going to hold as resistance for a while. So what we're going to do now is 39.75 is the top end. 39.55 or 39.55 to 39.75 is where the top end resistance is going to be. 39.40 to 39.15 is where the bottom end support is going to be. And we're just stuck right in here. Another range now. We've re-entered another range for now, it seems like. So it seems at the moment, if we can get above 75, 39.75, then we can have a shot at 4,000. But given the way it's moving around, seems like we're going to go into a lockstep move, which is just go from one range to the next, slowly move our way up. But keep in mind as well, though, tomorrow is the end of the quarter. So end of the quarter brings a lot of volatility, which could potentially shake up the market towards the end of the day tomorrow. So that's a potential opportunity there. But for today, at least, it seems like we're stuck dead center, top end 39.75, bottom 39.15. It's just a matter of finding which resistance or which range you want to play with and finding the trade to support that move.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's jump over to Sean, has something.
SOS just with a direct offering right now. So it breaks through 5. We tested it at 505. It breaks through 5. So now we've got to watch out for SOS here. A big move to the downside, 1.7 million shares. It is a $125 million direct offering. So what the hell is their market cap? Why it's affecting it this much? So we'll have to do some work on SOS, but SOS to the downside, now down that 12%, which of course, if you're a holder of SOS, you're not happy now because Bitcoin's breaking out and you're thinking that, hey, this is an opportunity here for Bitcoin and SOS to start going. And then you get the share offering. Smart by management, in my opinion, to do this. But what exactly does that mean? I mean, look at the daily chart here for SOS.
That's a big offering.
Yeah, look at what is 700 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So again, I don't know, like I'm surprised they're doing it here. Why not let the stock move back up to 7 or 8 before making this offering? But okay, so watch out below. This level is 483. That's right where we're at right now. So SOS making moves to the downside here. Maybe a 4 is a defended spot here. I defended 5, didn't work. Worth the shot. Again, you put on some shares and then you take the shot down there. So we're down a little bit to start the day here, but it's something pretty small. Let's just wait to see now what happens. We still have that 483. It looks like it just bounced off of.
All right, guys, we'll have a look at this one as well. I just saw GoEV, this little EV company, Canoo Incorporated. GoEV down big time. They reported in the pre-market. I guess, shockingly, they have no revenue because they have no products. So why would they have revenue? It's down 20%.
We've sort of talked about this with zero revenue companies and high valuation companies when they come through in this particular environment. It doesn't help that the rates are going in the direction that they are. GoEV, look at this. We're actually literally at this that March 8th bottom, which was like this mid 960s range. So as much as you're down that 18%. This is it here in 15 minutes, just a little bit easier to see. It's trying to catch a little bit of a bounce. I'd be fading this back up around, and again, just look at the day after when it bounced off that. You're looking at about like 1080 or so. So I'd be fading using 1080s or 11 as any bit of an out. I don't know about going long in that particular name. I just got distracted looking at that SOS as well, Sean, and thinking about where there could be a bit of a bounce. We've seen it before, but you also have the fact that you're making a run at 60,000 to help you with a bounce on SOS. I'd rather be fading strength in GoEV as opposed to picking a bottom.
Yeah, so 475 is going to be the out here. We went long again just to test it. So, but the one problem here, as I can see it, I lost my Bitcoin chart, but if you have Bitcoins up, guys, let me call it up quickly here for you. You're seeing it's making a move down here as well right now. So that's not going to help any sort of SOS or, there we go, we're out again. So or any sort of position with Bitcoin right now. So just bounced, just want to give you that attention, guys. It literally just, as my kids say, literally just bounced off 59 there. So you do get a little downward move and downward pressure here on SOS, but also followed with Bitcoin just dropping $300 in a couple seconds, well, a couple minutes.
All right, let's move on. Tesla Incorporated, the next one on the list this morning. It was in negative territory early on. We are seeing a little bit of a bounce, but yeah, Elon Musk tweeting after market yesterday that the ongoing chip shortage and ongoing cell supply limitations going to limit the ability to scale their semi-truck coming up this year. If you remember at the end of last year, he mentioned that by mid-year, I think it was this year, they were going to have the scalability ready for the semi, guys.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily going to move the needle. I had one thing written down for Tesla when I did sit down. It was 596. I apologize for the scaling of the chart. Let me zoom it in here so you can see without that crazy little wick. And it's just essentially, if you include today, the 3-session bottom here, yesterday's low at that 96. We're now bouncing off 600, so it's going to change the litmus a little bit for a breakdown at that price if the market gets weak. There is always the chance that, if there's a rally, there's some levels to the upside. I mean, that 640 area has usually been a big chop fest if it ever gets up there. So if it holds 600, I'd be looking to play off the 640. I don't know if I like necessarily, and I don't know if it's too strong of a bias because the markets were 0.5% down on the NASDAQ, but we did have that jump in the 10-year. I do feel some hints of weakness, and like 596 would seem like a good breakdown price for me on Tesla. You go to the daily chart, you look at what the clear reversal trend has been. This is a bit of a consolidation, but there hasn't really been a bounce off of it yet. So I'd rather see it. Once it does bounce, you're probably likely to get a chance to test back in like the mid 600s. So it's probably a multi-day move if there is a bounce anyways. I'm still playing that we make another test a little bit lower off that 596. If this happens to be the bottom, then we'll have to look to play either a fade off of a higher level like a 640, or maybe it gets one of those like pullbacks, and then you can use that same 600 as a bit of a support area. For me, I don't want to be against the current short-term trend that Tesla has had too much here.
Yeah, Tesla's a great stock there at 6 bills. You can check it out. Same kind of levels here. I want to bring this level into play. NIO at $34. We tested low yesterday. $34.50 was as low as we went yesterday on NIO. So we'll be looking for the same kind of a setup here today as the NASDAQ making a bounce here. I don't really see any news as why, but that doesn't matter. Making moves back upside. So there it is. This is a 20-minute chart there for NIO, and then a 1-minute chart looks very similar. I like this kind of a top 35.80. I mean, you call it 36 even if you want to, but if we can get up here on a nice little NASDAQ bump, if the NASDAQ can keep this going, then yeah, hell yeah, to the upside goes NIO. 35.20. We did have some clusters in here yesterday, so I think this is well worth a buy as long as the market hangs up. 34.80 bottoms, 34.50 the ultimate bottom, but yeah, to start to build a position in this area, I can't really see too much fault in doing that. I think I'll wait though, and wait for like 34.70, 34.80, 34.90. Put some bids in there. Well, I think we'll crash down to those levels at least off the open, and then see what happens at this 34.50 level. And then, like I mentioned before, we do have this 34 exact bottom here on NIO. Oh, again, the chart not loading back past January, but this 34 bottom, we don't need to see any further than this. This is the bottom that we're looking at in that crazy flush day of March 5th. You did have a 32 bottom. So if the market goes ham today to the downside, then we will expect 34 to break. But I think we can hold downside here on NIO. It looks like there's some decent support, 34, 35, guys.
All right, guys, let's move on to some of these stocks that have been hurt over the past couple of days with this Archegos mess. I mean, Viacom, we talked about it in depth yesterday. It ended up being a pretty messy trade yesterday. I mean, it didn't really give you a lot of opportunities. We were kind of back and forth here. Ended up basically right in the middle of the range, 45. We are looking a little more positive here this morning, guys. 3.5%, 47, the obvious number to stare at here, I guess.
The cool thing about it is because I put stuff on an iPad, I don't have to race anything. 47 was low from yesterday. 43 was the bottom, and the 43, just so you guys know, just to remind anybody that wasn't watching the show yesterday, on the actual flush that came on Friday, it made a break through 40 even, and that ended up being the low. When it halted to the upside, it held 43. Several times for about the course of 30 to 45 minutes or so before bouncing higher. And then you get the same hold in yesterday's bottom at 43 even. That's where that level comes from. And then 47 yesterday's intraday top in the afternoon. But it was also a bit of a level if you go back into that first day when it did actually bounce. It held that 43 to 47 area before a late breakout. So that range is still in play today. So the plan will still be the same. And it's actually not very different in that, sort of the wrong way here. We're still staring it right in the face near the open, and that's going to be that 47 break. So I think that's going to be the first shoe to drop. There's also VIPS. The only thing with VIPS, and I was looking at this one as well around this $30 area. We've already tested breaking through these pre-market highs, 30.25. When you go to the higher time frame here on VIPS as well. There is that low sort of afternoon 30-20-ish area that's already broken through. So I think you have a chance for the breakout on Viacom here, whereas VIPS will be more playing into the momentum, maybe buying a dip in front of that 28.50 area if there is on weakness. So my plan of action would be if there's a dip buy, VIPS looks like it's VIPS looks like it's going to be interesting for me. And then we both talked about that 47 level from yesterday and liking it in Viacom. I'm going to have that to go through. I actually don't mind getting this one in the pre-market. We've stared that level a couple of days in a row, so I just feel like there should be enough upside there that if it breaks, I want to have it on board, even if it happens to come before 9:30.
The other one we were talking about in this mess as well, Tencent Music, 3.5% here. Also looking a little more positive here, heading through to 21 this morning, which if you go back to, I guess it was pre-market yesterday, we were holding this very same area as support on Tencent Music, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, daily chart. It's basically it's not exactly the same thing. But you do have to go back to, in yesterday's charting, most of these stocks are going to be basically in the same range. The reason I prefer Viacom, of course, is that 47 hasn't broken, and like I mentioned with VIPs, you had already broken through that, yesterday afternoon top, and it's sort of the same thing with Tencent Music. You look at like that obvious sort of 2050 area, a couple of failed breaks, but that level looks like it's turning into at least some kind of support in the pre-market here for TME. So I would lean into the idea that if we do get a dip buy, it's a little bit closer than the support area on VIPs. So I like this one as well for more of a dip, where I think the breakout for me is going to be firmly in Viacom. Just in terms of a top-end breakout, I mean, you've already broken through 21 here, so if you like that, or you like the pre-market high, that's already been a breakout as well in TME. So this one, I'd look to maybe defend off that 2050 area, similar playbook to what I was talking about in VIPs, and then just keep the breakout over into Viacom.
Yeah, I like 22 on TME. We went short now on, and finally, so we made back absolutely everything now on SOS. So we finally, take small cuts here. This is, like I said, 6 cents. And this is 11 cents or so. And now we're short 63, it's at 44. So we're still holding 60% of this trade as it rockets downside there. We just took some 42s out there. That was the low of the day, so that was a good one. Oh, sorry, 43 we got printed there. So SOS now still moving to the downside. Check back in on BTC, still moving to the downside and moving to the downside in a hurry. Man, did it reject 60. We talked about that. Now down to 59. Even and breaking that too. I mean, whatever. We're bouncing off 59 here just to check out some key levels for Bitcoin. We didn't touch anything in this 58 range, so probably needs to settle down around here, 58.5 or so, just to see, because on this move up from 58. Basically just marched right to 59.2. So I think we have probably some stop issues here, 58.60, things like that. But I still envision today a break of 59.4.
Let's go to BioNTech. BNTX reporting earnings aftermarket yesterday. Better than expected report. They beat on both the top and bottom lines. The bigger news, though, they said they're going to be able to scale their COVID-19 vaccine manufacturing, along with partner Pfizer, to 2.5 billion vaccines by the end of the year. We were trying, guys, to hold this $100 level here in the pre-market, but looks like that was unsuccessful for BNTX.
Yeah, I mean, usually the play has been to fade almost all of these names, at least the ones that are that move around a little bit more, like not your Pfizer's and your J&J's, but maybe your Moderna's and your Yenvax's and BNTX on plays like this. Unfortunately, I like that one off 930. You do go this multi-day sort of chop fest around that 101, and then there would have been that 100 break, which would have been firmly in play. You have a multi-day low here at 94. We ramp off of it. So if we get buying into the open, yeah, I actually do like fading into this at like a 101, 100 to 101 area. You have that top there at 102. Ignore these little wicks here. This is more of a 102 pre-market top that I'd be concerned with. The thing about BNTX, 100,000 shares pre-market volume and yuckity yuck spread. It was $1 a second ago. It's like 50 cents right now. But this is why it's more of an opening type of play and a fading into it. Like, I'm not taking any breakdown trades. Like, if this is basically sitting, right here, I wouldn't be saying, okay, let's go short on the 99 break, because you're probably paying like 98.50 or something ridiculous on that type of momentum play. Whereas if it bounces up off the open and I want to play it off 102, I stand a decent chance of getting a price with a stop of less than $1. When even if it tests the pre-market low, you're looking at $1.50 to like $2 on that type of a play, or maybe even lower than that, as we showed you that support down at 94 and a 96 close. So there's just all kinds of room to the downside if you get yourself a good price to be able to fade it, just in case it does get that big pop. You don't want to lose $4 or $5 in the trade. If you can limit that to like 1 to 1.5 on the short side with the upside to match if we do get that flush. I'd much prefer that entry point on the way up into some buying at the open.
Yeah, I've already done a little bit of work with you guys on Pfizer today, and I just think, this 36.75 here seems to be the right level. So we'll see about playing off that. If it does come, we'll check back on the imbalance locator. It's still 12 minutes to go. Wow, still a long time here. I don't see Pfizer on here. We do see some BFT. Check on that. Still the same price. Check on Tencent Music, still 21. We like a 22 break there. Palantir, we're going to test that 21 level, so that's a good long. temporarily long, I think. And then US Steel down here. I mean, other than that, there's not too many names that we continue to discuss on the list today. So if you see anything, there's XPEV. I don't even see NEO on here. Yeah, so the top 20 today looking kind of weak on the imbalance locator, but NASDAQ hovering around high spots here. So, oh, that's US Steel. We don't really care about that, but it was just, well, we do. But here's Pfizer, 36.75. That's the level that we're going to play off of. And then see there's a bunch of, I don't know, whatever this is down here. A bunch of up and downs yesterday. Consolidation right off the open at 36. So I think if it dips down to 36 even, we should put some bids down there. Make sure to get a little long if it does test it. But right now, Pfizer and BioNTech not looking super great for opening trades. Like Neil said, we do have a large spread there. We can watch BNTX if you like a little more action in your life.
Let's go to GameStop next. A little bit of news on GameStop. This trade has changed. I think that's worth stating here before we get too far into this. But they named a new chief growth officer, taking the former Amazon or a former Amazon executive that used to run the growth strategies and marketing division for the fresh store business for Amazon. So here we go. More efforts, guys, to move towards that e-commerce end of things for GameStop.
I mean, at this point, the best I can say about GameStop is just the sheer volume and amount of time it's spending at these levels. Like this 180 now. You have to flush it into 100. We recover back in, and then it's like, okay, spend a couple of sessions holding a level like 180 on volume. It's somewhat impressive. Usually when it does this, it has a bit of a chance to break out. I don't know if that's going to be the case today. It's just the NFTs are giving you so much volatility. We already know all of these. I don't even know what you want to call it. Your Viacoms. We got to give it a more fun name. Your Viacoms and your Tencents. Those would look like much more interesting volatility plays to me. Maybe there's a 194-ish break. I tend to look at it this way: like if GameStop makes a breakout in that 194 that looks like it's primed for a bit of a breakout. If I don't catch that, yeah, I mean, look at this top here, 220, 225, 230, and these are all like wick tops. So it'll make a breakout, stall, and then come back in. I'd just be looking for one of those on GME off of any strength. It seems like the better way to play it when it's not moving. Let it start moving first and then jump over to it instead of anticipating there's going to be something there. Because I've gotten in the habit of, GameStop's going to move today, and then I hit a couple of breakout trades, make a one, lose on another, and then I've spent like 15 minutes of my day right off of the open focused on GameStop when there wasn't necessarily any action there. So up 3% doesn't do a heck of a lot for me, but you get that 194 breakout, it's going to trigger. I'll notice it on the chart. Then I'm going to start looking for those 220 to 230 areas for a bit of a reversal. So that would be my play in the way I look at GameStop today. Don't get distracted. I think there's going to be better names for the day trade.
Yeah, I mean, AMC, this is actually a decent move off the open, so that's what we'll see if we could do something like that today. Other than that, there wasn't really too much to do yesterday. If you were managed to trade around lunchtime, you did have a nice move in AMC, and then the afternoon really just barcoded here. Consolidation, nothing. 10.25 to 10.40, that's a 15-cent range for the last 3 hours of trading. So 15-cent range, last 3 hours of trading for AMC. You know what? I don't know. The reopen trade, I think, in AMC is probably over with. You got to sort of wait for this thing, in my opinion, to fall back down a little bit. I know a lot of you that are long may not like to hear that, and I hope I'm wrong. But right now, AMC, kind of like GameStop, trying to form a base here. The beauty of it is this 50-period moving average is climbing nicely. So I'm almost thinking, I was sort of thinking before that like between 6 and 7 was the base, but now it's looking a lot more like, between 8 and 9. So we're not too far off right now. If you say that you're up, if it's overvalued by $2 right now, that's only 20%. I can show you a lot of stocks that are way higher than that on their valuation. So I like this level here. And again, it's not talking about PE ratios or anything, just where I think, it should trade. It did pull back into this 8 area, 9 area. So you know what? Let's just wait to see. Today, AMC doesn't really have much on my mind. If it breaks through 10, then maybe we have something. But look at yesterday. Open, down. What a great spike this was to 10.08, and then the move happened. So I think if you're going to be an AMC trader today, you wait for that same kind of spike. I'm going to park an order down low here, 10 and change in the teens. We'll see if we get picked up and then use 10 as a bottom. But other than that, I think it slowly makes its way into that 9-ish low 9s area before we maybe see another move to the high side.
All right, let's talk DraftKings one more time. Lots of people still joining us here this morning. If you missed it, DraftKings, I mean, there's lots of positive catalysts still, but there was news this morning. They picked up this Vegas Sports Information Network, which is a multi-platform based sports betting broadcast network. So more expansion here as well for DKNG, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Sean went into it in depth, and there's not much to add. I mean, we both like it. I think there's certainly some good levels to pick it up. I think you mentioned that 58, which were yesterday's bottom, I think, as well. I want to go back to the 50 just so you can see that 54 bottom. This is not the only chart we're going to reference levels from this day. You get that low, and then it's the next day, right in the pre-market, usually pre-market lows or maybe opening range lows here at 58, and then a lot of stocks are trying to bounce off that same level. So it's a very, very similar setup that, you know, if some of these growth names actually hold a level like this on the day trade, it's going to be, you know, simultaneously give you a bit of a bounce. But I would just be cautious, because when you have 2 or 3 names that set up like this off of basically the same kind of technical level, if they all go through 58 and you're long multiple names, you could find yourself in some trouble. So always pick your poison, which one you want to defend. I think it's clear that 58 is a level that you got to defend today on. Well, I mean, if you're playing the long, that's where you're not wrong until on DraftKings. So if you're buying 59s or on a day trade, it's like if you're not willing to give it to 58, you almost shouldn't have it. Would be my 2 cents. I would preach some patience. And then I think there is a likelihood of at least a consolidation or a test of those lower levels for the longer term. But if we dip down to 58 and I see any kind of a bid down there, I mean, I'd take a shot at that in front of DraftKings in particular, just liking that level. And again, it has something to do with the big recovery, and then that being the bottom on the 8th there on that Monday, and then of course yesterday's low coincides with the same price.
I think this 50, and now that I look at it a little more in depth here, obviously 58 is a no-brainer, so you can sit down there just like Neil mentioned. But if you want to, you know, if you think that DraftKings maybe gets going here a little bit, you know, it's just been beat down so much. Took a 10% haircut yesterday. Okay. So yeah, that's the problem. So 59.60 right here, 59.65. Let's call it 59.70 right here. You know, we tested it at 12.30, bounced up about $1. Tested it again, consolidated before finally giving it up. So this 59.70 is a spot of concern for me. If that does come through, then we'll try to hold it as much as we can down to this 58. If it does fail on us, we'll see if we can add into 58. But it's going to be a little bit of a hairy one here. 59.70. If we can get that, then yeah, I think you can get $1 out of it up to 60 and change. So let's take a 59.70 long, but the market needs to help. And I don't want to shoot, man. It's like 4 minutes to go.
Oh, yeah.
I see Brendan over there at the big screen. We've got to throw to him, but I don't want to get into this too early. So I'll put, shoot, here it goes back to the upside. Really nice, guys. Thank you for hitting all the likes. Let's get as many likes as we can. Also, share this damn program. Let's get the viewership up, guys. Check out Valeria's hair. I see a lot of talk on the chat about Valeria's hair. There she is. Yeah, today. Do that again, Valeria. There you go. I can't do that. Neil can't do that. But
What are you talking about, Sean? I can't.
Yeah, no, we both can't do that. Brendan can sort of do that. What's up, Brendan? Give it to them.
No, I can't. CSCW, Color Star. We'll go back to NFT land. More positivity. You remember, again, we said last week this thing popped up to this very area on NFT news. So we're back to 220. 220 corresponds with that high. We just came in and held, guess what, 220. So 250, 260 top end of the pre-market. Above that, there's not much until 354. So this thing has a lot of room to the upside, not so much to the downside. This is 140 down here from yesterday. Needs to get below 2 to move down, guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, like that stock has been a little bit of the bane of the existence, but also on the list right beneath it, Performant Financial is going to be on our watch list as well. With, oh my goodness, 2.5 minutes to go here, guys. So got to go pretty quickly through here, guys. They did have look. You guys can read up the story on the chart. I just want to show you the executions because very tight range in the pre-market. And I looked at this like 180 bottom. I'm like, okay, if we take out 180 after this harsh consolidation at 185, I'll look to get involved. I do get some on the 179. It pops up. I'm able to get some more shares in. I got a 180 price exactly. There's a few chop zones to concern myself with on the way back up because it was a 150 close. There's not a lot of runway to the downside, so you're talking 5, 10, 15 cent scalps, hopefully into the open. I think if it tests higher, there is this 185, but if that breaks, I'd probably look to re-enter a trade into like the high 190s on PFMT. That one also on the watch list, and of course, still in that Admiral Ag bar. And Viacom is just holding up here like 46.60 to 46.70. So I do feel like this one, maybe today is the day that it actually gets the real break of that 47 area. You can see it hasn't really tested, but it just continues to try to bounce off of this level or towards this 47. Hopefully today's the day we get to make this trade. I feel like I'm going to have this stop out every day until it finally does break.
Yeah, you got to. Neo heading to the north side. Neo.NQ, come on, Sharks. Neo heading to the north side, but I do want to try to pick some up downside if we can on this sort of a level. And then watch out for 34.50 and then 34 break. We have AMC. We're looking to pick some up at 10. If that can happen, I don't know, that might be over it. And then DK, I mean, we have the Viacom trade as well. Neil just discussed that. DraftKings looks like it'll break at some point. I actually do have a low bid here, right around here, man. 59 and change. Let's see if we can pick some 59s up and then see what happens. Like, I have no idea. Like, this DraftKings move down yesterday was pretty freaking epic, man. 65 down to 58. Like I said, a 10% haircut yesterday on DKNG. And we're trying to go long. That might be crazy. 59.70 right here. We just touched it and then dropped. So that's going to be my go zone. We only have 30 seconds to go. And we'll average into it through to 58. Viacom is there. We still have SOS on board. We'll get out of that one if it breaks 5. And then other than that, man, it's go time. Neo GE through 13. And then, Palantir looking to test downside at this 21, guys.
Yeah, and 20 seconds, that Admiral Agbar stock, I reloaded into it. It looks pretty good. It's back down at like 73. It just keeps on falling all over itself, crapping all over, whatever you want to say. It just keeps on doing it all over itself here. But Miss V is on the bell, so we do get to see her before the bell. One more time, guys, in the North Carolina blue. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's get this party started, guys.
Okay, we're going to wait to see what does happen here. Okay, whoopsies. That was a mistake. Did not mean to go short on Palantir. Let's get out of that one quickly. All right, so SOS, that was just a mistake there on Palantir. We're actually looking to get long on Palantir, so I got to refix that program. Right now, we'll look at Palantir low 21s, guys.
Yeah, and I just got to go to that PFMT immediately, trying to make a bit of a spike to the upside. But if it can hold this 185, which I kind of am thinking it's looking like it wants to do, I might try to jump into some more shares here, like an 84 or something along those lines, guys. Just get passive. If I'm playing in the range of pennies at a time, you do have to concern yourself with the spread each time you're trading in them. Just to go over, we talked about PayPal briefly, but didn't get into too much. All I said was like maybe throw some bids to the 225 area in case you get picked up. Immediate weakness is it's down a couple of dollars here. So yesterday's low was 233, 234. We didn't really mention that. If that comes down there as a day trade, maybe worth the test. Viacom, no breakout at 47. It's selling off again. Brendan.
All right, for those interested, guys, we had ARKX open right at the open. Opened at the open. Imagine that. ETF through 20.5 to the downside already on ARKX, guys.
Okay, so we already have DraftKings at 59.02. We took some out there at 29. So a nice little 30-cent win on DraftKings. We'll see if it can go up to this 59.50 level, which it already is, and we'll get some out. So a nice little 50-cent win to start the day here on DKNG. Take out another piece if I could get it. Did I get it? Yes, I did. 43s, 50s, $50. We're long at 02 right now, guys. So a nice little trade for us. Let's see here, going up through 50. Yes, a 60-cent win on DraftKings. And now we come up to this 59.70 level. Let's see if we can't break that. That may have just been the top. Viacom does finally, Neil, break that 47, so your boy is long.
Yeah, I just got it too. I actually got 47 even, which makes me skeptical as to how deep that break was. So I don't know if you got that same price. Usually when that happens, it's not a bad idea to trim, but I've been waiting for so long. Of course, it's on VIPs. I'm sitting here on my level 2 and thinking you guys are actually seeing it. This is a bit of a pain in the butt. Yeah, but there it is. It fails off 47 one more time. I'm gonna park some orders and see if I can't just take some off in like that mid 80s. Lighten up the load and then look for a re-entry point if it breaks a little bit higher, like 47.05 or something along those lines, guys. So I'm going to have a quick look at this one. Hang on to the second half of the shares, of course, or some of the shares at least. If we can't break that or can't break that 47 again, but it just feels like, why am I never looking to short this stock? It's a little bit frustrating at this point to not consider that 47 for a short and only want to go long. But it is what it is. We're still above that 46.50, so it's trying to hold the line here. I've trimmed a little bit so that I can defend this 46.20 down around VWAP, but it looks like that's coming in right away. So Viacom, once again, a pain in the butt.
Yeah, exactly. I trimmed off a lot there too. Okay, Palantir now. A good long for us on Palantir, so we'll have to watch to see where this goes, man. Look, we were long. We were just long at 15s there. That was the mistake in. I should have held that short. No, we were long. And then now we're getting out. So nice little long here. Palantir long at 21.17 right now, into the teeth of the fucking NASDAQ, man. This just keeps on coming to the downside here, so trying to absorb some of this. Let's get more out of Palantir as it's trying to make moves to the high side. Viacom to the downside. We've got SOS, Palantir, Viacom, DraftKings. Oh my God, I have too many shares here, guys.
Yeah, SOS is actually rounding back to the downside. I also have to watch that PFMT making a run at that $2, so I'm still in that one to the short side at 90s here. If SOS retests the low, remember there was 4 and 420 on the high end, and I just saw, whoa, there's a bit of a bid there. A couple of 100,000 shares at 59. I mean, I wanted to go long if it was going to be off of like a 440, but it might just have to be around this level here. For 60 breaks, might look to take a quick long off this 459 buyer here on SOS, but it's got a hold. You can see it here on the bid.
Yeah, we're already short SOS here at 63, so we have, whoa, okay, yeah, I didn't even notice that bid. All right, so that goes all the way to 5, and now we'll wait to see if it cracks this guy. I think it does, and then we'll go to the downside, but that's the least of my worries right now. There goes SOS, a nice little win for us here. Hit the siren on SOS. Okay, Viacom, our average price is 83. It's not a good one. We'll see if it comes down to this area, 43, 44. We've got to give this some space, guys. Via C today, I think eventually takes that out, so good trade there. Neo, let's ring some registers here. Bang! You guys want the bangs, and we're back in action today with some of these bangers. Nice little long at 35. Watch out, Valeria. Where are you? Coming through soon. Yeah, I don't want to hit you there. A nice little win there. Neo, long 35s. We talked about that. We have some lower orders, but let's take it out for now for a 20-cent win and just move on from that. DraftKings, we did take that break, but our average price is in here. We're making money on DraftKings, but it's going to the downside, so we got to wait for you to get going to the backside. And then Palantir, we took some out in the mid-20s, but now we come back down, breaking through 21. Let's just watch out if this happens, man. This is a big level for Palantir on the daily chart. There's that 2019 level. 21 probably breaks right now, and then we'll see about a short through 21. So we tried on Palantir. We tried every day. There's some, well, not every day, but today I liked it because there's some size there at 21. So let's see if this stock wants to go up or down. Palantir, I'm hoping up.
Yeah, and that Viacom, look, it's just a pain in the butt. It should be shorting. One of these days, I'm going to short 47s. Get in, break doesn't work, defend 46, 46 doesn't hold. It's just going to get frustrating over and over again. Why are we not shorting that Viacom? Whoa, wowzers. VIPS here, guys. VIPS on a big time reversal. I actually like that one for a potential break, but remember there was this also a dip buy opportunity at 29.50 in front of 29.50 and 30 even. There's PFMT's trying to come back in. I got 95 as the price. It's kind of like, is trying to hold below that. It was a failed breakout at 205, which I jammed back into yesterday's top at 205. My price is still pretty crappy, but I'm now looking at VIPS as well for that 30 level on the defend. It looked like it was all systems go for a breakout. It just held one time off of this chop level at 30. Also go back to yesterday afternoon, multiple tests just at that 30-ish area. So that's the other reason I like it. You probably have to give it back down to like that 29.50 to 29.75 just to be sure that you hold this one long enough. It just topped off 31, so there is upside potential here in VIPS. Should have played this one instead of Viacom for like 2 days in a row.
Yeah, Palantir breaks, and now we'll look to go short. Should have just gone long on Neo, all the shares, but instead we split up some of that risk, so we take a little bit of a hit there. It's a 17-cent hit on Palantir, like that's nothing. Now we're in the money here, 40 cents. We just took some, actually 25 cents. We just took that out for a quarter. Let's see, man, the NASDAQ is not holding anything again today, guys. More pain to the downside on all these names. What's up, B?
Another little one moving, guys. MBRX had news in the pre-market here, positive news up to $5, but just broke $4.50 there at the open on a big reversal on volume, guys. Back downside here for MBRX.
And trying to bounce his VIPS here, guys. It just came off of like 30. I was able to add here at like 30 even, so 30.04 average price. It's trying to get above this quarter mark. If it does, I'll try to take a leg off and then take some out in front of that 30.50 as well. Definitely going to be a bit of a big level. ArcX, yes, it is absolutely open. That Admiral Agbar, which if you guys don't know, I'm a tiny bit of a Star Wars fan, so I might make that reference far too many times today. As I was trading too many other things, I missed out on a chance to get 65s on this. Short every level here, short below buck, shorted twice at 80 pennies. If it pops up to 75 cents, I'm going to short more. I'm kind of be short this thing today until I see either there's any kind of news which would justify why this particular blank check company is up from 31 cents yesterday, or it actually sort of breaks my back through $1. That's probably the only two things that'll get me out of this one today.
Okay, we're waiting. I mean, I'm actually trying to be pretty patient here with Palantir. Let's go back over to it. It does break that bottom, but I'm looking at this 21.30 now on Palantir, just saying like, I don't know if we're going to get to that level again today. I mean, the NASDAQ, of course, as soon as we get out, it begins to reverse itself back to the upside. So I'm gonna try a short here on Palantir into 21.30. So that's something different for me. So let's wait to see if that one can come through or not on that short side. Instead, DraftKings, we've averaged into this. We got a nice little 58.60. We told you that we were going to try to play it down to 58 today. So if that comes through, then that comes through. But I do like DraftKings for a long. Though I can't be long DraftKings and short Palantir because they'll basically just follow the market together. They should anyways, as they both getting hit with NASDAQ moves down. So watch out here, DraftKings. We're still long this one. 59.20. I mean, we're out of the money 30 pennies. It's not a big deal, but I just very, very nervous about this 58 level. We do have some more bids downside, or do I? No, I don't. Got to get some more bids into that 58 in case that does come through. And then watch out for that 58 bottom, guys, on DKNG.
Oh my gosh, I just actually keystroked out of all of my PFMT. It just finally made the flush. I caught the turn here on the stock. It made a parabolic move, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Wait for it to turn. It turned off 215, and I jammed at 212. But I just took it all at 185, that's a bit of a keystroke. If it pops up again, I'm going to take another shot at it. I did mean to try to hang on to shares as I usually do. I should probably celebrate that. We'll go with winner, chicken dinner, because that's the first thing I hit. VIPS cannot get back to previous highs at 31. It stalls out at 30.60. I might have looked a gift horse in the mouth. I got some shares out on the way up at 50. So only 25 and 50 cent winners so far, and still holding half the position, thinking that we're going to get this breakout, which has not been coming on these, I don't know, our Flush Friday names. Brendan?
All right, banks bouncing once again, as we saw going back a week or two ago when we had the 10-year moving higher. Strength came into the banks. Here we go again. MS, guys, straight higher right from the word go, 78 up to 79.5, 2%. Most other banks looking the same.
All right, just watching Palantir flush a little bit here, which is nice. Back into the 90s, so our average price is 21 even. We took some nice shorts here, 21.10, 21.05. We started at 20.90 before the NASDAQ ripped up, so now we'll come back to the downside. So a small little 4-penny win right now is Viacom. Finally, guys, upside. Let's take some off here, 33s.
Now, eh?
Yes, sir, there we go. Cowbell winner on this one as we held that, and we talked about why we held that one. And it's so stupid that we didn't get longer, but we did average in at 46.30. So a nice little win to the upside here goes ViaC now. And I said the next stop probably 50 here. Let's wait on Viacom. Let's go, baby. We are long this one, 46.78. A 75-cent winner. So here we go, guys. It's been a good one today. We'll throw out some hot dogs for this Viacom trade, but watch out. It can easily come right back in. So we're celebrating this temporary win. We'll see if we can throw some more hot dogs as this gets closer to 48. Guys.
Yeah, and for me, once I saw it actually break, and of course, I already took my Viacom out for a hit. It is what it is. I went to VIPs. I just canceled an order on VIPs to the upside. I think if we're going to go through on Viacom, there's a decent chance we can continue this move as well. So if I can catch, and this is pre-market highs at 30.40, and if I can catch a dip just below that off of VWAP here, I'd actually look to add to this position so long as Viacom wants to hold that 47 low. It's not that they have to go lock in step, but there's a decent chance that they might. There might be some strength in Admiral Agbar here, and if it does show any through 75, I'm shorting it again up to 80. Brendo?
Big volume alert there on GameStop, guys. Here goes GME through 200. A whole bunch of volume went off. Was more than 10% to the upside. Just broke 200, guys, on GameStop.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go again, guys. Okay, Neo to the downside. DraftKings continues to make moves to the downside as well. Yeah, we just took another bid there at 58.50. So a couple bids. This is not normally how we trade averaged in, but we do have this 58 level downside. And on a daily chart, I mean, it's not that it looks very good. It's just we do have some 57.75s here that have resisted. So let's wait to see if it's going to work out for us. But right now, it's really not on DraftKings. So this stock continues to be a funny one as it does take out to 70. It goes as high as 87 on that break. So that was really a nothing break there. That's why we're averaging in. And again, I told you, I'm done taking a lot of shares on breaks. It's better to average in right now and just see what the NASDAQ has for us. And today it has a little shit kicking as it continues to go down, now down that 1.95%.
Oh, wow, I just got DraftKings.
And making moves downside, guys, right now. We're going to pick up a few more, but DraftKings making moves downside.
Yeah, so I'm about to go to DraftKings, but I just watch out SOS. Look at this 475 area for a potential break, but if it tests this low of the day at 440, there is that 420 level that we're talking about, then 4 even to the downside that I was looking to pick up shares. As you mentioned it, like the second you said DraftKings, my bid in front of low of the day just got picked up here at 33, so I wanted to defend that 58 level. So here's the first crack at it. VIPS is holding up, but back at 46, I'm going to take some shares off VIPS. I just took some shares off for a 70-cent one on VIPS because Viacom was heading back to the south side here, guys. So back below 47 on Viacom. Get out of some VIPs here. We'll celebrate that one and go for the bullish trade. But big test coming up here on DraftKings, guys. We'll ride the bulls for VIPs, but DraftKings needs to make a hard bounce off here to put my faith in this one that's going to be a hold throughout the day. I mean, we like it longer term, but these are going to be day trades, so we have to pay close attention to them in terms of the price action and the direction. I said I wanted to short strength and go EV. That was probably, look, it is what it is, guys. It's going to just go straight down. There was no pop at 9:30, no chance whatsoever, no moss. The stock is getting absolutely crushed, now down to like $8.80. It's short sell restricted. It is now broken through definitively through that 960 level. I really don't know where the bottom is going to be, but if there's any kind of a bounce, I'm probably still going to look to short any strength, this time into that 960 previous area.
Okay, so we take a nice little price here on NEO. Let's just see if we can't eventually get it a little bit higher. We have a 34.70 bid there that we just took. So let's see if it can rip up. There goes 84.85. We're long 73 here in NEO, so that's turning out to be a decent trade by itself now. So happy with that, the way that one's pairing off for us, and we'll just see if we can get some more out on the upside. Look at the NASDAQ, man. Did have a Puke City there, and what we're doing instead is getting out of some Palantir for a nice win. So we took some 94s, we took some 89, or is that 90? I guess 90s there. On this NASDAQ move down, we have Palantir, we have DraftKings, and now we have NIO long. And I'm just going to continue to take a little bit out on NEO here if we can. If we get some back out in the 80s would be pretty nice. We do have a decent position off this 34.50 level. So let's get some out in case the NASDAQ keeps on falling downside, man. And then we'll wait for 34 even. 34 even is really the testing spot here on NEO, but this is coming down faster than we probably thought on NEO. Palantir, a nice little move down. We'll take some more out at 90. There it is. Did we just get that again? We are bidding 90s again on Palantir, so waiting to get out some there. But hey, right now, longs and shorts, what we have on the only short, Palantir and SOS, and then the longs, DraftKings getting spicy right down here. We just took some more at 58.33. Oh man, this NASDAQ just killing this stock slowly.
Yeah, and trying to bounce off VWAP here is going to be this VIPS. I saw Viacom drop to that 47. This is why we got these shares out at 30.70. Now it's trying to make another bit of a bounce here, guys. So I got to watch both at the same time. I like the VIPS short, long trade on that dip buy, and that's the only way. DraftKings making a bit of a bounce here. I'm going to take some off in front of 58.75. See if I can't bag like 35 to 40 pennies on a win and try to hold the rest. We just got it. So thank you, DraftKings. Brendo.
A little bit of positive news in the drug space. Amarin, the European health regulator, approving one of their heart medications, a new heart medication. So nice pump here, 4.5% for Amarin, guys.
The most professional man in the world. Apologies there for getting that one on, Brendan. Every now and then I'll hit my key, and it actually delays just a little bit in terms of getting it out there. DraftKings going up into VWAP here, guys. So I sort of stare 59 in the face, and as I say it there, we got the fill there. So it's 58.33 long. It's not exactly at 58. We wanted to defend that level. We did take the crack at it. Just this and VIPS, I'm holding on to the last bit of the position. See if we can't test those tops, but it's not as if the market is screaming to the upside here. We're still hanging on those lows, and this is why we sort of picked out the names in the watch list that we wanted to defend, that we liked on some strength. And I mean, obviously, with the market down, you got to find the right bounces and the right levels. That's why we went to the higher time frame, do the analysis for you. But you got to take profit on the way up, especially as weak as the market is seeming so far today.
Spin it. Money. Okay, DraftKings, yeah, man. Put on some shares downside. Got some out right here at 59 as it is near VWAP. So really, really happy with that trade. And then super happy also, let's take another piece off right now of NEO as that continues to move to the high side as well. Did I call that one up for you? Yeah, there it is, NEO. Some more outs there, 36.80s and whatnot. Okay, here we go. Now the NASDAQ's cracking. So that's why we'll go right back over to DraftKings. We're still in the money on this one, but now it's coming back down. Look at the market fading out here, guys. So we still have SOS, which is a nice one, man. Hot dogs for everybody on SOS as well. Short here at 61. Some nice covering here. Downside, we just took some 50s, 53s. Now we're going to break through 50 again and then see if we can't retest the bottom as Bitcoin's hovering around 59. So Bitcoin not doing too much, but hey, SOS coming down on that share offering. So watch out for that one. Viacom now out of the money. So that's why you take some trades there up to 47.50. We did get out on that 47 break. Now it looks like we want to do this dance back downside 45.70 or so. Watch out for these levels, man. 44 and change, and then 43 is the big guy on Viacom. But right now everything's cruising. Oh yeah, Neo. Beautiful trade here for Neo. In there and out. Like we talked about taking that trade. And then now we have this 60 or 70 long, right? 71 long and going to the upside. A nice little bang. There it is, guys. There's a banger for you at our high spot we've been at all day right now. Let's keep on climbing. Neo.
It's a trap. Agbar is now at 59 cents. So look, when there's absolutely no news and you are a 31-cent blank check company that trades at 250, maybe, just maybe, it's going to get sold off as everyone realizes there is no reason to hang on to this bad boy here. So I reloaded a couple times here. We reloaded at 80. We reloaded at 80. We got some shares at 73 there. We're now trading down at 55 cents. So, it is what it is, guys. I'm going to be short this pretty much all day long. Until I see a significant reason to cover it. I got a nice little reload here at the top again on PFMT, and again, a little bit too early on this little wick here. It's kind of stupid at 2, but then I jump back into it, actually load up at like 213, and this is sort of patience with this one. Allow it to spike in. It's putting in higher lows. It's the other way of playing this. I've only shorted this stock. And I've had to dig in a couple of times here. I am not doing that again. Not when it continues to put in higher lows. As much as I've made some money on it by jamming when it turns, that's a dangerous game to continue to play here, especially when it wants to hold these highs. It needs to crack, I'd say, and hold back down towards this 185. We're trying to fall off like a cliff where I initially started taking this to the short side trade. And if that had happened after the market instead of the pre-market, that would have been absolutely ugly, guys. But this one looking like it still could be strong, PFMT, although shorting at the top around those teens every time has certainly been the saving grace here, but I wouldn't test that theory too many more times.
Thank you, Tyrone Biggums there. Yeah, we've been playing Neo really well today, man. In there and out on that bump up, and then we let it fall down. The only problem is I'm out too many now, as we still have a position on, but it's not a huge one. As Neo right now, 35 cents in the money. Thank you, Tyrone, for that talk. We were trying to get longer down here of Viacom, but I missed that trade because we were watching Palantir and whatnot, but Viacom has a level there. We're still going to be long that one. SOS bounced off 50. I think it's probably prudent to take a little bit more off right now as it's just like bouncing right there, so that's not doing much. And then DraftKings, yeah, we're long, we're making money on the name, so everything is all good, but we do know that with this NASDAQ push to the downside, man, DraftKings can pop at any time in the wrong direction. What's up, B?
Vertra, VTSI, little teeny tiny micro cap aerospace and defense company, maybe getting a boost on that ETF today, 80% to the upside. They also reported earnings, surprise profit for VTSI. So huge move here. Having trouble with 9 up here. It's tested a couple times on VTSI.
Ooh, giddy up, giddy up. Some of those names are going to be interesting. I want to come back to a name from, not a blast from the past, but I'll also watch out DraftKings. It's back to that 58.30 my entry point. But on the way back down, Upstart, guys, is making a bit of a return to this 110 area where it went to 170 off a 3x move from the bottom on that little breakout on volume that we saw and we talked about on the show. If it comes back to this 110, that's a monster level on Upstart. So just watch out for that one as it does show a ton of weakness today. I got to go back to DraftKings because that bounce a little bit short-lived. We turned at VWAP, and look at that, literally right back in here to that low. If we can make a bit of a turn here, I'll get into some shares again off the same level. But with the weakness in the market, of course, I just missed it. Just tried to pick up some shares. I think I tried like a 38 there. Oh, there we got the fill. It actually just came back down to me there. So I do get the fill back in. 58 is the key level. You can give an extra few pennies here or there, but now that it's turned off VWAP one time, I'm not going to get too greedy trying to hold that one again, trying to hold it too deep through 58. If the market's going to go, I'm going to let it go on me with that long trade in DraftKings. I feel like the difference here with the two longs I had, because there's VIPs, which I always put in NASDAQ, VIPS. The difference here is those like free fall Friday stocks, whatever you want to end up calling them. They came off so hard that there's just so much ramp and room to the upside. Like VIPs can get to like 32.50, and that's just the flush top from yesterday on a failed breakout. You're not even talking about the stock was at $46, a week ago. So I feel a little bit better hanging on to these in market weakness now that they've started to break out here. That's why Sean, I'm sure, has Viacom still, and that's why I'm hanging on to VIPs.
Yeah, there goes Neo, man. I should just be trading this one. When Neo goes up, I tend to do well on it because I'm a pretty bullish on Neo at these levels, man. Like 34, 35, it's been holding that. So we take that beautiful long, and now it's just Rip City to the upside as the NASDAQ trying to go. We turn our Palantir Day frown upside down as we went long initially. Now we've just been shorting into this and covering. So it's been a good cover here. It doesn't look like a huge win. We're short at 21.10. I still like it through this 21.30 level. If we can get going upside there, I mean, there is some other levels here. Let's watch the NASDAQ. We do have some good names on board, man. If the NASDAQ wants to rip, we got VIAC, we've got SOS. I should have took out some more SOS at 50. And then Palantir. Basically, I'm dead light on this thing now. I have 5% left on Palantir as I don't want to hold this thing short if the NASDAQ does go. So Palantir light on you, and we'll do a little bit more work here. This is 21.15. So if you take out 21.15, we'll get out of it, and then we'll see about building into a long on Palantir. But that one's going right now for us. And DraftKings, we did average back in at 58.30. So again, let's see if we can break back through VWAP here and get to 59 and change, and then take out the day's high through 60 on DraftKings. That would be pretty sweet if we could get that. Our average price 58.60. So just right here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's all this like talk of DraftKings. I actually just wanted to check back in on a couple of other names here. I look at the value of. I'm looking at GN here. I'm looking at the value of this puppy. It's starting to get very, very close. There was a nice swing to like 25 to 30, but this is a gaming space play. They're more of like infrastructure and software in the online betting. 16 to 17 looks awfully appealing to me, guys. If it gets down to that price, gonna start monitoring that one. It's not a day trade, guys. It only does 200,000 in pre-market volume. And did I really just do it? Oh goodness, I just looked at DraftKings, a gift horse in the mouth on DraftKings. I swear it just popped. Yeah, it did. It just popped up to 58.70. I did have an order up there, and then it flushes back in. So it is what it is. It's a 58 defense. I'll take one more leg in front of it to have the share size I had originally. But if it can't hold up, I got VIPs, which is holding in the money over $1, and DraftKings, which again is showing some more weakness. And that 58 is about to go, guys. There's my last little fill there. Let's see if 58 can hold. I'm giving it a few cents past there. I hate the even dollar stops, particularly on DraftKings. They never seem to be the right exit point. So I'll give it a few extra pennies. If we can get back into the 50 range, I think it's worth a scalp, and certainly at VWAP, taking some profits, and then we try to hold on to it.
Okay, DraftKings continues to be a tough one. We did take more at VWAP there on Palantir, so I hate to start talking about the same stock, but there it is, 21.05, and it makes a move back down to 20.96 right now, and making moves down. So let's put a bid here at 96. Might as well try to capture some kind of profit on that name. Neo, good out there. We took it. Now we're pretty light. I said I wish we had a little more there. We got out near that VWAP, but now Neo trying to go still, but hovering around this area. I mean, look at all the consolidation. If we had like volume at price, I mean, this 35 would be ringing off the register right now. I mean, it's just a lot of volume being downside here. When you get the breaks, we're lucky enough to pick that up. Should have maybe got a little lower. Well, whatever. I was waiting before 34.60, 34.50, sorry, on the downside there. Now Neo going back to the high side. Highs it's been at all day. Bang, a 50-cent winner, man. The pins just lined up for us today on this long. So really happy with the way this is working out. I think we'll get one more piece and then hold the rest just in case the market wants to fall down on us here, because we're already loaded into DraftKings, guys. We're loaded in to DraftKings. So that's going to be like a big trade for us. So let's get a little piece off of Neo here, and then hopefully DraftKings can rip to the high side for us as well.
Yeah, let's go DraftKings. And there's a small part of me, and by a small part of me, I mean like a large part of me that's like, why didn't I just do nothing but short this stupid AGBAR stock? And it's like, I don't know, nothing made any more sense here. And I'm going to go back as to why I was not more aggressive here, and I can't come up with a really, really good reason. But it's now trying to take out the bottom again at about 58 cents. It spiked up. I'm waiting at like 73, 74s, and it spiked up to 70, but I still want to short any pops. I'm just not aggressive enough because maybe trading a few too many names here, and DraftKings could be one of those. Brendan?
There was this XL Fleet. We talked about it briefly yesterday. They actually reported earnings not great for XL Fleet. Down again today, 7.3%. Trying to hold this at 850, though. A bit of an attraction, it seems. Down significantly, though, for XL, guys.
I wanted to look at that XL. Remember I told you guys that if they beat, there was a huge opportunity for them to start ripping heads off, but they don't. So thank you, XL, for that. I am not in this at all, so we will wait to see what XL has in store for people. But without knowing the numbers, I'm very, very lazy. I actually forgot that XL even reported today, but that there's no bottom side for this. So you're just going to play momentum to the upside. Any little break here will go, but again, without the information there, I'm not trading XL Fleet. 46 cents now in the money on NEO as that's continuing to go. That's a day chart. Go back over to a minute chart, but still having some issues. We'll park an order up here. I mean, I'm not going to park an order anywhere. Actually, I will. 35.50-ish. If we get filled up there, then great. That means the market's ripping. So that means good for DraftKings. As DraftKings coming back alive for us a little bit here off of some nice little bottom picks. We need to get back up to VWAP if DKNG is going to do anything. And again, we're here to try to make some money. So, I'm holding out for a bigger move. I'm comfortable losing on DKNG. This move down yesterday and then what's happening today just seems to be pretty unreal. So let's just see if DraftKings can't catch a bid somewhere. Maybe this needs to go into the ARK Space ETF because, Netflix is in there, right? So what are you going to do? You might as well gamble. You're gambling with your life in these spaceships. So I think DraftKings needs to go back to the upside. So if you like that reason, then I have some magic beans to sell you.
Hey, the way I see it, there's a limited amount of content that you can make, but there's always fresh sports out there. So if I'm stuck, I should say when I go into space, I'd much rather watch sports and gamble on it. But we talked about why bottom picking and dip buying was going to be a theme for some of the stocks today. You're looking at DraftKings, you're looking at Viacom, you're looking at your VIPS on strength. And here's the rubber band play. I'm still hanging on to this. I actually held through this dip at 31. I missed an opportunity to get VWAP there, and that's all on me. Trading too many things at once. Here's DraftKings. I will not look this gift horse mouth. Just puts them out in front of 58.70. So I like that one. We'll rain the money down because I know we're both in this one. But VIPS is now $1.50. I talked about there is one target to the upside. It is watching out for this 32.50 area. So if we test and start to roll over shy of that, we get to like 32 or crack through 32 and start to turn, I will get out of this trade because, look, there was a huge monster flush off that level. There's always a 32.50 break in play and lots of room to still run. So I can get out of that trade pretty comfortably here if it does fail at these prices. But there's no fail getting over to Miss V at the big screen. Let's go to you.
Hey Neil, AMC is a really popular name on the chat today. Stock is down around 2%. Back to you.
Which one? AMC?
AMC.
Oh, wow. Siren alert. I'm into AMC.
Oh, nice.
I just got into AMC, guys. So there's the drop down, 210. That's exactly what we were waiting for. So I told you, again, if you're watching us early, I have the parked order here. It runs me over, and then my out's just going to be simply 10. I mean, I don't want this to complicate my life at all. This is going to be a simple trade. It either goes up or it fails here at 10. So we're long at 11. I have some offers. I think we can get into this area, like 24, 25. That seems to be something that I'm looking at. And then there's this bottom. I mean, that's why. I mean, once we broke that, we had some consolidation there through AMC. It tries to go there. We have a decent position. DraftKings now, banger for me right now as that continues to go. Did we just get some out there? No, it did not. We are at 15. We noticed there's size here, guys, on AMC at 15. So let's see what happens. Come on, AMC. We're long. Did I just get into something else? Or I just got out of more DraftKings, I believe, to the upside. And let's wait to see what there it is. Through 16, 15, 16, 17. Let's look at AMC now with a nice little win. Thank you for commenting on that stock, Valeria, as AMC now 7 cents in the money. I think Brendo?
Ooh,
or not, or somebody else? All right.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock, we'll have a look at North American markets. Consumer confidence number just out there, better than expected for last month in the U.S. So watch out for the market to maybe make a move on that, but nothing yet. S&P still negative 0.4%. You can see to the downside. The Dow 0.2%. The NASDAQ leading, as we mentioned, 0.8, 0.9 for the composite in the 100 here. The Russell small cap negative, once again, 0.09%. Back in negative territory. Here in Toronto, we're down as well, 0.45% for the TSX. Couple things to watch from the watch list this morning. This one, NCTY, the 9 limited with some Bitcoin related news. Yeah, they didn't like that. 39.5, 40 all the way down to 34 at the open there. Huge volume, straight southbound for NCTY. Tesla was on the list as well. Just sliced through 600 right off the bat there. We're all the way down to 590 again, guys, for Tesla. Back over to you.
Thank you, Brennan. We're going to hit this one. I just got out of VIPs. I said I was looking for that turn, and it could have happened shy of that 32. I see it spike right into 31.93, and then the bid essentially evaporated. I take it out at 31.77. So, bottom to top here, our two entries were down here at 30 even, and then the first leg was at 30.08. So 30.04 average price. I will take $1.70 on the last of that trade. And again, I just preferred the dip buy on this name, and I went for the breakout on Viacom, and then was doing the dip buy over in VIPs. Breakout doesn't work for me. I then even try the dip in front of this level here on Viacom. That gets me out, so I go 0 for 2 on Viacom, and then make it back and then some over in VIPs. And again, you just have to try to follow your plan. Viacom actually holds the pre-market low, so it's actually still a fantastic long opportunity for you guys there. And speaking of holding the low, for now, DraftKings, we talk about this being the bane, not the bane of our existence, but like can be a frustrating day trade. But I feel like there's the better way to play this is just wait. You actually wait for the bottom in front of 58 and wait for it to turn, wait for it to fail through 58 and come back up. Again, wait for it to turn. Get out someone VWAP. It's just, that's working a heck of a lot better than, just like buying breaks and holding them on DraftKings. And maybe this is the new way to be able to play this stock today. I'm certainly hoping that it is. SOS, I still have this 476, a breakout loaded, ready to go. You can see it holding up. Of course, we came with that offering real time. Sean broke that news while we were prepping for the show. Market never sleeps. The market might not be open, but there was still the news dropping, and you can see on the chart here. If we can break out, I like that long. You do have some support at 440. There's still a $4 to 420 support area on the higher time frame worth a look as well.
Yeah, good trade on VIPs there. That was a great one. We're hoping, we have the same thing on Viacom. I'm hoping anyways. A good trade, man. I'm feeling like Superman on this one. We had that 46.30. We took that out. And then we have this 45.79, and that's $1 now in the money. So you could see 70 cents now in the money on that name. And AMC up to 18 again. So we just took some more out there. It's only small. It's 7 cents, but we did put on a decent position because we were ahead of 10. So we had a guaranteed out spot there. So whenever that kind of play comes, you know that we're taking out the stick and hitting that trade. So that's just one of those things where we had a defined out of 10, and that just, again, it doesn't look crazy on the daily chart, this $10. There's really nothing there, more of a psychological 10 even level, right? And I don't even know, let's check out what the size is there. Yeah, see, it's nothing. 485 on the New York book. So whether or not there's something there on a gateway or not, I don't know, but that's pretty psychological there for me. So out, that was good. Okay, on the other side of things, we did switch to the long there on Palantir. So now we're stuck at 16 long on Palantir into this market. I like it. I think we can get some more into 21 and then see what happens on the upside of Palantir. But right now, Viacom moving around, SOS, this is going to be a nothing burger for me because we went long defending 5. Then we went long defending that bottom of 483, which we can go back to, was a few days ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's on a daily chart, 483. I remember that. And then we finally switched short, and it's just been Cash City on the short, but it has been a great reload at 475. So SOS, something to do. Whoa, hello, DraftKings. Bang, DraftKings right now. We're cooking it up to the upside as I look over, and the net exploding to the upside right now as there goes DraftKings, a big position for me. We now go 70 cents in the money on this guy. We go 90 cents in the money on Viacom. Oh yeah, and by the way, let's go as we unplug Neo today and we say, F yeah, right to the upside. I told you remember I said I'm gonna put an order there? Wish I didn't now. But look at this, bang, 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 straight to the upside, Neo. Wow, we get excited a little bit because right now it's a spicy meatball in the market for anyone long into this. Look at this though, here comes the NASDAQ coming right back down. This may be, heralded for not too long as the NASDAQ continues to go. But we got the right names, man. Yes, our highest spot we've been at today Run the money barrel. Let's go.
I feel like I might have got a little greedy at that 59 on not taking out DraftKings, but I came over to this PFMT and take a couple of cracks at the top here. I never hold reversals very long. I actually got a long at 218 that I took out immediately for a penny hit. Then comes up, tests the high. I said I was not going to be digging in off that teens level. That's exactly what we do. Wait for another parabolic move to the upside that tries to fade. I've taken 2 cracks around this top. One with a couple of tight stops here off of this like 230 area, and I don't want to add until we actually level off or start flushing. The stock is very, very strong here. I got a 28 short that I don't want to add to until maybe it cracks down below a 25 or gives some consolidation. Like I said, strong name. Here's level 2, guys, so you can see. But there's other traders jumping in and sort of selling 28s, refreshing. 30s had a bit of a level here. So a couple of things. Like, yes, you can be like, yeah, that's people taking off those longs. But if that's more people jamming into the short trade and then the levels break to the upside, you have to be concerned there's more people running to the exit on a 230 break. So I'd rather sell into some weakness here, which is exactly what happens in that stupid Agbar stock, than try to jump in at the absolute top to have the best price. Rather be with the momentum than get an extra 2 pennies on price. And come on, DraftKings, hold 59, baby.
Yeah, I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying for you guys to get going here. Viacom, here he comes. The cash cow is back in the building on Viacom. It's a pretty easy trade today. If you did expand your horizons a little bit, you had to go down here, man, to 44. Like my stop right now is breaking through 44. So there was that, and then we were going to reload it through 43. But Viacom today, Rip City. So good trade there. $1.50. Yes, sir. I don't know. I don't need to hit anything else right now. Let's just go diamond hands because I feel like when you have a $1.50 winner on this name, that's well worth the diamond hands for this one. And then look at Palantir, man. Bang again for Palantir, guys. We talked about taking this long and holding out for 21 break. Oh, I just put a 32 out there and missed it. Here we go. Look, just to show you how honest I am, watch this. Where's the 32? Give me that 32. There it is. There it is. There's the... Let's go. This is what we're doing. It's the Wiz is in the building right now. 7-cent winner on AMC. Nothing to write home about, but we have that. DraftKings, 70 cents now in the money on DraftKings with some orders upside here, just a little bit more, and we'll break the bank on DraftKings. But yeah, so far so good, man. 17 cents on Palantir now as we keep on going up. Man, we're in the money, and what a good day this has been today. We've had some shorts, but now we switch over to the long and really happy. Even though the NASDAQ still getting smoked, we just had great prices, man. Look at this NEO stock. I mean, wow, tomorrow, man, if this near 35, watch out. You might see a monster position get put on, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go with this. We'll do a fist pound here, guys. Tried to tell you guys as it was happening here what I wanted to make what I wanted to make happen in PFMT. Allow it to sell through that 25 area, roll over or consolidate. It starts to roll over. I catch it on the way back down. Only going to add on the way down. It starts to flush into those teens where I was previously shorting on those pops. So I'll take profit first there. If it cracks through 215, I'll have half the trade left to get out in front of VWAP. Remember, this is a stock that is trending, clearly trending to the upside. So you got to be very, very careful shorting it. At least I stopped digging in, stopped shorting those teens. That would have been abject disaster if you keep going to the same well over and over again. DraftKings is trying to hold. It is not necessarily doing so above that 59, but sometimes you just have to be a little bit more aggressive. I want to be shorting every pop in AGBR. It's basically stopped even coming down. Coming back up to give me some short pops. If it breaks 50, I'm just going to try and catch a 50 break. It was a 31-cent stock, and it seems absolutely determined to get back to 31 cents today. I just want to make sure I have some on board, but I haven't been able to add since 74.
Come on, let's go, Kathy. I mean, you can get this going, can't you, Kathy? Palantir, we just took some out again at 40. Like, hell yeah, man, here we go. So this is me and Kathy Wood on, our private jet, and we discussed, everything ARK, and then, of course, ARK got crashed. Downsides, we could check out ARK and those holdings as Tesla. I mean, I guess it's going to be up today. We could definitely check wow, NEO just continues to go. PayPal, see, we talked about PayPal early, and it's red today. Okay, you know what? I don't know, man. DraftKings still that 70 cents in the money. We just took another piece out. I was going to go over to Tesla here, but DraftKings on this NASDAQ move, guys. We're waiting for here, like this top, 59.30, if we have an order parked there. Let's go. Let's go. I just talked about Kathy Wood, and then here you're going to see some respect here. 50, 57, 47, 60. There that goes. And Palantir, hello, Kathy, all the way up to 21.50 right now. Okay, look, those of us holding Palantir, we need this thing at 31.50, but we'll take it for a day trade. Ho hum, another 40-cent win as the market trying to get positive. Still a hell of a long way to go, Brendan.
This one helping BNTX, guys. We talked about it in the pre-market. 6.3% now to the upside. Just testing these pre-market highs after earnings for BioNTech, guys.
Yes, sir. And also testing those highs. Got to come back over to like that PFMT. I did get half the shares out, like I mentioned before, but it's looking like it wants to continue the strong trend. Another test at that top. This is why you always scale out of some profits if you're going against the grain like this. I just got the 50 break on Agbar there, but if it takes out to 230, a lot of people are running to the exits. You can actually include me there, but that's why I made sure I took half of it out at that little dip into like 216. At some point, maybe I would think about a long here, but again, the bias has worked for me. I am up on the stock, so I don't want to get away from that little bit of a trend. We just talked about, we just mentioned Tesla. I don't know if we showed the actual chart here, Sean, but Tesla making a bounce back to 600. There was the flush. It broke that 96. It wasn't very clean when it happened off the open. Then it was very clean the second time through. Now trying to reclaim these pre-market levels here at 6 even. Sometimes Tesla can be a bit of a leader on the market, so I'd watch out for a potential turn in all of these sort of growth and tech names if you do get a turn in Tesla here at 600. I'm holding DraftKings right now, and if we flush into VWAP, I'd probably take that DraftKings trade off on the event that the market's probably going to turn on me, at least in those particular names. So I like Tesla as a bit of a bellwether for the other trades.
I'm just tweeting this out, man. Just talking about how DraftKings, we were frustrated and upset at each other early, but now we good. Now we friends. As DraftKings continue to go to the upside, if you did want to follow us, we are all over Twitter. Here's mine. Try to get to 17,000. There's DraftKings. Frustrated me early, but now we're friends again. As you can see, that was that take early. I talked about never, busting out to the high side early on into today's market, but ding, 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 ding. We make a little V-shaped recovery there back to the upside now on DKNG. So follow us all. I'll put my handle there in for you guys, and you guys can ask me questions as well as we go. But there's DraftKings. We're sitting at 59.20 right now. So this is $1 in the money. Palantir just continues, man. Takes out that 50. My best out right now, 21.48. It's at 55, so a nice little runner here. But yeah, all good, man. Viacom still holding upside too. This 47.80 though, maybe worth getting out. We're $2 in the money, so maybe we should take some profit here. 47.70 looks like a good price on Via, guys. What up, B?
Some of the solar names, guys, trying to rally a bit today. They've been beaten down over the past couple of weeks as well. 10% here for Jinko Solar. Just broke through 42, immediately through to 43 on decent volume for JKS.
And remember that CSCW showing some weakness finally. It's not below $2 yet, but it just tested a second time at 201. That breaks too. I like it to the short side. I've gotten away from it as it looked pretty strong. I would not short simultaneously CSCW testing out highs and PFMT testing out highs continuously. You pick one or the other because it's a better way to manage risk in my opinion. But $2 if it breaks, I got my stop ready to go. If it does give a little bit of a pop and hold at like 220 or hold around VWAP, it's a bit of a fade off those levels. But remember, it ran from bottom to top, testing the pre-market highs when it took 2 last time. So tighter stop if you're short 220s, but I like that $2 breakdown. Just wanted to make sure we don't miss out on it because we had got away from that name. Market's still holding up for now. DraftKings still trying to hold this level here at 59, but I am watching out of the corner of my eye that Tesla. And if Tesla turns, like it's just one of those things where if I do see that Tesla turn, my other chart not really loading up here, I would definitely be getting up. But Tesla's testing to 604, which is a bit of a top level going into the open here at 930. So 604, big break. And if it breaks out in Tesla, we're probably getting close to 60s on DraftKings. You want to hold steady if you're long into that particular name. And from there was one that we forgot in the NFT space, or at least I forgot. Hall of Fame. Sometimes you miss out on a rollover and it's like, oh yeah, market wants to give you a second chance right at the open. Hall of Fame came off of this $6 level. It tried to test through, break to these highs from earlier on in the session here, that 630. It's trying to get there again. If we roll over at 610 to 620, this is where I'd like to short it. I probably would have made this play if it was the only thing I was looking at 930, but it's going to give me a second chance here potentially right off this 6 to 620 level on HOFE.
Okay, we're going to get out of half of what we have left if this breaks back down above or below 47 again. That's via C. And then we do have some upside targets here. No, did I cancel those? I think I canceled those. Oh no, we still have 47.60, so right in the middle here. We'll get out. We'll see whatever hits first. If this hits first, then we'll cancel this downside move, and if this hits, then we'll cancel this. The reason why is I want to hold something. I don't want to get both of these fills here. I think it can still go. And there we go. Yeah, what up, Randy? Randy's in the building here. Got his hat. Maybe Randy can show his hat at some point today. We picked one up for all of his hard work. Randy. Trader TV, Randy. You didn't even ring the bell. He must have been busy doing something there. But okay, missed opportunity today. I get a lot of love for the sticky notes, and I apologize I didn't post it up today. It wasn't so amazing. I mean, it was, but there's GE 1304, man. Look at those Neos targets, and there's Palantir. We highlight 21. That's 50 cents in the money. Look at Viacom. I mean, that's all over the place. But that GE 1304, man. I need to review these and refresh this. As soon as it broke 1304, it's never even thought about looking back. I mean, we had to let it fall down to 1290. That's why we had on our list. And what I'm trying to do is show, like, you see how we had 1285 there? That was going to be, there it is right there. That was going to be the move there, 1285, and we didn't test that. We got to 89, so that would have been a nice little spot as GE takes off today to the upside. Viacom, come on, man. What are you going to do? Still waiting on that one. And then DraftKings, still 90 cents in the money, but a good out there at 59.14. This is how you know your boy loaded up. Because, I told you it was a big position, but you can't have this many outs if you don't have that many shares, right? And so that's how I played this game. And DraftKings, I haven't made a lot of money on this one, so I'm really happy with making a little today. If it runs, it runs, but there's Viacom breaking back down below 47. So nice little out. Now we have a small piece left, 20%, 20, 40, 60, 80. Now we have that last 20% left down there. Can't be a loser now, Viacom.
Yeah, stocks don't only go up for everybody that's watching here sometimes. AGBR, look, you can short at the bottom. You can literally short. I just shorted at 50. I started shorting at $1, and now I'm shorting it at 50, and now it's at 46 cents. And 31 is certainly looking like it's going to be a lockstep. CSCW broke 2. I couldn't get 97s or 98s. I'm actually short at 95, so I had to trade down to that one. It's also working down at 190 or so, so I'll start trimming that one off. But as we mentioned that particular name, I feel like it could be a topic of discussion with Brendan at the big screen for our small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Wonder why Neil was thinking that. CSCW, 43% still. Yeah, we just broke 2, as you mentioned there. I actually tried the long here initially through 260. I mentioned 250, 260 right before the open there at the top end of the range from the pre-market. And that was simply because of the volume that came in as we tried to go through that 250, 260 area. A lot of buyers stepped up. So immediate reversal anyway. So yeah, we're short now through 2 back to the downside. It's got a long way to go back to where we were yesterday, 140, 150. So we'll see what happens. Got to be patient with that one. MBRX was another little one that popped up in the pre-market here. 440, pretty obvious support. Once it broke, that was a nice little flush back to $4. So we'll shift over one more time. Go EV. It's tough to feel like shorting something that's down so much in the pre-market, but to give you a little consolidation to work off of here through 975 at the top end, all the way down to, what are we at now? 850 for Go EV. Guys, back to you.
Yes, sir, and we like coming from Brendan to drop the money. And of course, as he talked about it, he's a good luck charm, and it broke 195 and it hadn't broken down that CSCW. It just broke 190. Again, I'll take shares off every 5 pennies or so. So 134 close. I like 150 for a bit of a target for most of these shares. We can talk about Agwar all we want, but I want to go back over to a stock that got forgotten. I wanted GameStop. If it broke to the upside, I told you guys I'd look for like 220, 215, 220, 230, those levels for reversal. Couldn't even get there. So it got to 200 and then a hard reverse. GameStop now testing the lows of the session at about a 180. So if you look at this and how relatively calm it's been in the last few sessions, just to go over, if you look at this here, around this level, it's had a tendency to level off. There's breakdowns through like this. This like 170 point here, and then you have a bit of a top here at 180, and then 180 again. And it's trying to settle down here with all kinds of chop the last couple of sessions. If it holds a 180, it's not a bad bit of a long bet here on a GameStop. Usually I like fading into it, but if it gives you crack at like 180.50 or 180.60, risking 50 pennies plus slippage to catch a bounce back into VWAP, not a bad way to go on GameStop. It's either buying dips off good levels or it's fading into parabolic moves in GameStop. Nothing in the middle will I do, so I'll wait patiently for either 180 or give me another top at maybe 200.
Man, that NEO at 36 was a good short, man. If you go back, I mean, even the daily chart here, we touched 36.85 yesterday, which I guess 37. You do have to hold it a little bit against you, but if you did feel like the Nasdaq was failing there, this was great because you did have some consolidation up there, and we were too busy not looking at NEO, and we should have been. We were looking at Viacom and whatnot. We already put this money in our pocket, but NEO to the upside there looks pretty nice. We averaged in a nice little bump down here. We got some 16s on Palantir, so that's why you see our average price right now 16. So we'll watch out. Actually, was that 16 half, or I don't know what that, 16 half, I don't know. Okay, so we got some 16s there, 16, 17, and now we'll wait to see if it does come back in. VWAP's 21.12. We'll take some more, then see if it holds that 21. As I told you, Kathy and I have discussed this stock, so let's hopefully it goes to the upside there. We'll see if it goes or not. SOS, we've got some bids in here, 450, that went to 440. No, it did not, because I have a bid at 54, so that does not happen. We're going to wait to see if we get the mid 50s now on SOS. Small beans there. We'll see if it can come through. Let's take off another piece of Palantir. I mean, do I think it can go higher? Of course, but that was a nice little buy there. So if we can get some out in the mid 20s, I think that's reasonable, as the Nasdaq still trying to hold on. We'll put on a bigger position if it gets down there. Other than that, I mean, NEO, we talked about that. Let's check back in on Softy. If there's another name that you guys want to show up on here, we can look for that. Yeah, we will bring Kathy on the show, that's for sure. Microsoft down that 1.6% here and fading out. We talked about Microsoft being strong. Like, if you look at all the other tech names, this is actually, I mean, it's barcoding now, but it's holding up real nice. I don't like Microsoft under the 50 period moving average. It doesn't stay for long when it goes under, so you got to watch out for here. 230, I mean, in an absolute bloodbath, we could, I mean, not today, but we could get to 225. That's a buy for sure on that spot. So let's watch out for Microsoft right here. Look at this move down on the NASDAQ move. Ugly. Let's see if we can't find some longer term trades here. Not longer term, but longer term price action on Microsoft and give it back. I don't know. Yeah, see, we go long back. Nothing yesterday. And then on the daily here, 230 maybe hold. So we're still a little ways away, man. The NASDAQ has to fall just a bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to ride the train here, ride the bull of war on DraftKings. But I said if Tesla couldn't hold that 600, I would get out of this one, get out of DraftKings. I think there's going to be other opportunities to get in. And if the market shows weakness, you can get a test of that 58 one more time. But either way, I'll be happy to have a day trade that makes some money over in DraftKings. It's always a tricky stock to trade. And if we continue the rollover, the NASDAQ breaking through lows, Tesla below that 600, I told you that was going to be a reason for me to get out of that DraftKings long. So I'm going to stick to my word there. It'll only be like 60 pennies on the last exit there, and definitely could have had some at 59 for over $1. But rules are rules. I was trying to hold for 60. It just couldn't get there. Brendo?
I just noticed this Genius Brands, guys, on the volume list today, relative volume here on GNUS. This is not the first time I've seen this headline for them regarding Stan Lee and a collaboration with Marvel on some Stan Lee content. But yeah, 20% almost to the downside here for Genius Brands today on monster volume, guys.
Yeah, I saw that Genius Brands, and we still have that 190. I mean, here's a 3-minute chart on Genius. We just touched that 190. A big move down, Brendo, down that 20%, like you mentioned, and then it stops at 190. So if you get back into this area, I think it's worth a bid. Right now, not for me, Genius Brands. I mean, I've traded it before, but not now. Viacom, beautiful move back upside. Whoops, don't want to draw that. Beautiful move back. It does resist that 46.50. Again, we had more bids down here. Doesn't fill. Now we go to the upside. Let's see if we take out 48. I like ye a lot. Okay, here goes Palantir again, guys. A nice long. You can see where we're long at 17, up to 26, 27. We'll take out another piece. There it is. Another piece at 27. Zoom in a little bit here as Palantir continues to get bought. And then we're still holding DraftKings. I don't know. We could be buying again. I like to be a buyer down here if we can. DraftKings 58.50. I'll put an order there. Should have had one there, didn't. Let's see if it takes out the top. I'm still going to hold out for this 59.50. I think it comes, especially with NASDAQ now regaining some strength. So SOS, meh. Let's get a piece out now at 59. It doesn't want to do anything here, bouncing between 56 and 58. And now look at this. BTC also starting to just sort of flatten out here at 50. You can't really see. I'm going to change this chart background to white. Oh, no, I guess you can see it okay. 58.50 bottom there, 58.6 on BTC. So watch out for your Maras, your Riots, things like that. But it seems like Bitcoin has chilled out a little bit now. So that's good if you're watching those names.
And VIPS is starting to, well, I mean, it's continuing to chill out at the top here. The exit here at 31.78, still holding up as 32 is the actual high of the day. There might be a bit of a reversal play that we could pull in here if we can hold that 32. So I'd like to see it test one more time. There is a bit of a seller here at 31.88, just like 80,000 shares on the offer. And I was sort of saying to myself, let's go to the higher time frames. You guys can see the only reason there's any trepidation to jump into it right now is you have this 32.50 level. So it's almost like 32 could break. And then you could fade into it like above the 32 even price and get a failure at yesterday's top. But then I see a seller like that, and it's like, why not just grab a little something in front of that seller at 31.88 and just have like a stop at 32 even. So I'll maybe go ahead with that, with the idea that even if I lose and it takes out the high of the day, I'm willing to re-enter the trade if it tests at 32.50. It was a great long off the bottom in VIPS. I didn't hold on to my Viacom. Sean did. I went to VIPS. You just have to have a plan of action for you. Whatever works. We try to show you our train of thought here. So if you're trading multiple names in the same space with the same theme, a lot of times it can make sense to have the one that you really want to dig into and the one for whatever reason that you want to take the stops off on. For me, that was Viacom on the long trade and VIPS for the hold. Brendo, what you got?
GSX just popped back up here on volume alert, I guess on day highs there. It broke through day highs. This was a bit of an area yesterday, if you remember, this online education company trying to get back to 36 here, guys, for GSX.
Okay, 59, I mean, maybe 59.17 or so, I don't know. We did take another order there, another trade order, that's a good one. Another trade at 58.60 right now. We told you we'd try to buy some. We'll try to buy some lower here. I think it's some 58.30s I have on board as well for DraftKings. I have so many orders out right now. No, I don't. 57.8, yeah, so we're down here. We're waiting down there. That's not good. We need to get some orders in the middle here. So, we'll see if DraftKings can hold tops. If it does, fantastic. If it doesn't, then we know what to do and get out. So 58.50 is a good little level there. 57.50 on the downside. We touched as low as 57.90. My average price right now on DKNG is 58.36. So it's a 40-cent winner now. But yeah, like you all, we're looking for more than that. So let's just wait. We'll get some out if it comes back into this area. But for now, that's a good winner for us. And I would like to hold some of those shares for sure in ye old account. So that's going to try to go upside. We didn't get any SOS. Viacom still moving. And then Palantir, a nice recovery. As I noticed this, let's take some out at 32 again. That's that magical price. But there's Palantir up to 31 off this rebuy of 15. So I'm liking this move on Palantir. There it is. There's a 32 out. So a nice little win there as we go chicken dinner winner today on some of these longs. The market starting to act up, man. 50 cents on Palantir right now. 50 cents on DraftKings, 13 cents on Palantir, and $1.70 on Viacom.
And here comes, by the way, Tesla making another run at this 605 area. There was that pre-market, sort of fail break, not opening trade, fail break through 605. I think we can get that trade through again. Like if it tests a second time, breaks through that 605. I like the potential breakout, especially if we've just flushed on the NASDAQ through 12.8 and then come right back up and want to hold that level. That's going to be a big one. And, if the NASDAQ can do that and the ESIC sort of climbing off the bottom as well, a Tesla through 605 makes a lot of sense to me. Brennan?
All right, guys, coming up in just about 45 minutes at 11:15. Yeah, another great guest coming through. We're going to talk to Numinous, another company in the psychedelic space. They have a really interesting story. I'll leave it at that. So join us at 11:15. They have an interesting story. So talking to Numinous coming up at 11:15 today. It's 10:30 right now. Hey, great hat, Valeria. Tell us what's going on over in Europe.
Thank you, Brandon. And if you want that hat too, Brandon, you can find it on our store merch. I'll send the link on the chat. And guys, Europe mostly in a positive territory on a recovery hopes. Italian fashion brand Moncler and Swiss watch group Swatch are both up around 3% after Deutsche Bank upgraded their stocks to buy. Back to you.
Yeah, market's trying here, guys, trying to get back to the upside.
All right, so there it is, DraftKings, another one, man. Walk on water, a beautiful bid. We wish we had some more lower, but we'll take it out there right ahead of 59. Now I wait for high side, and I'm not getting out anymore. I'm gonna wait till 59.50-ish. So we'll park an order upside and just see if it can go. No idea if it can or not, but 59.50, we'll see. Just on this NASDAQ bump up, we're really, really happy with that. We did take out some Palantir, as you guys know as well, on the upside, just out there 37s as well. So this was a nice move. Palantir's been nice. Shorts and outs, then we reversed the long right there, took that profit, then reversed the long right there. So today, Palantir's a winner for us, and we'll just continue to watch the stock market bounce. And that's what I mean, man. The NASDAQ is like, stuck here, stuck. Are you going to go or what? We've got the longs on board. I think I got the right stocks. Palantir, DraftKings. The only thing I'm missing, which I should have bought at the bottom, which we normally do, man, is this NEO. It's right at 36 again. It does drop down into this consolidation area. Would have been a great pick up there at 35.70, but hey, can't have them all, Neil.
Yeah, and speaking of, I can't have them all. I finally get into Hall of Fame, HOFV. I just cracked that's like 595, so I get into that one for the short side first. Back to PFMT, I said I would wait this one out as it tested higher. My last out was stopping out of half my position at 231 on a short at 226. It now consolidates right at that same price level, 230. I got the short here at 230. And again, I actually want to be adding to this at some point, but it's either sideways action to get me in off a tight stop high of the day, or it shows all kinds of weakness back into those teens, and I can short this puppy below VWAP. So going to hold off on adding. Tesla resists 605 again, so it has not given me the breakout that I want just yet, but it does feel like it's getting close. As market gets another leg to it, and I think we're going to get a shot at that 605 in Tesla. But here's that HOV I was telling you guys. It tested this level 6 to 620 off the open. It then tested 05s a little bit later on, just after 10 o'clock. We're now testing that same level again, so I'm shorting off this 605. Even if that breaks, I take another crack at 625 here, guys. And then, of course, that PFMT. Look, if I can't get more shares of it, it's obviously going to be a bit of a good thing here that it is going in the money for me essentially right away. So PFMT, I did want sideways action to be able to add to it. There we go, fine loading up, and it just pops right down into VWAP here, which means I should probably take some shares off as it goes to the downside. Just in case it bounces off VWAP, I want the chance to be able to add at a worse price, like a 25 to 27. But nice trade anyways. We'll go gates to hell of that one, guys. And HOFV, I will be adding in front of 605 as well.
Okay, yeah, no gates of hell for DraftKings as we're making moves to the high side again on that name. And then no gates of hell again. Actually, diamond hands for this name. Viacom breaking through 57.50 now, near its high of the day. So the double long works. Remember, this was a mistake, so we weren't in that. We got out that super early. Long. I wish we still had that long. And now we're taking out the high of the day. So yes, sir, believe in that trade and got paid off there a little bit on Via. And you know what? I mean, do we go higher? I'm going to hold this one because I really do believe that if you look back here at the daily chart, there's this 50 level. So let's see what happens if it gets there. Well, for me, well worth the risk here on Viacom to hold at least, like I said, we're holding 20%. So 20%, that 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, and really proud of that hold there. So that was a good move for us. Now $2 in the money and still rocking and rolling. So that's a good one. Check in on BFT. We talked a little bit about that turning into PSFE tomorrow. Not doing anything today. It gets as high as 16. We talked about that early on, and then just fading in. I don't really have any prices for this. I got to do some work as a shareholder. I don't want to dump. I mean, I'm not dumping this before it turns in, but I don't know what happens on symbol switch. If you guys know anything, let me know. Like generally, if there's a chart or a website out there, tweet it at me. I'll actually put my Twitter here on the thing. If there's any sort of information that you guys have on what happens, like when Nikola switched over from whatever that was one of the very first ones. Nikola switched into Nikola, then had that move. Do you remember what it was?
I have literally no clue what Nikola's was, but
man.
For a quick second, because you're talking about the EV space, Tesla break 605. Remember it made that break right at the open. It stalled out at 606.50. It looked like initially it was going to do the same thing. It got me out of half of it for $1. I'm going to hold on to the second half and try not to get shaken too hard on this one. Shaken, not stirred is the way to go. But let's see if it can't get into those teams. We talked about this this sort of chop area from the afternoon, 610 into that 615. We break into that range. That's a fantastic area to be able to exit the rest of that trade. And of course, Brendan knows, VTIQ.
Yep. Yep. That was an easy one. Good job, Brendan. Thank you so much. Oh, not easy for me, but good look up there, Brendan. No, VTIQ. Yeah, obviously. But so many SPAC names. I mean, Ride, Lordstown. There's a bunch of them, guys. So just do your homework and do your research, and you'll win as well with us. Look at Palantir, guys. Straight to 21. Yeah, someone said no bueno there on that. Yeah, it's not DISCAA there. But okay, Palantir. There it is, guys. Money maker. So we go DAPS on this one. We've been talking about Palantir all morning long, and there's another win. I haven't tweeted that much out today. I've been busy, but Palantir with a beautiful, beautiful win. And then here we go. DraftKings again, guys. We need like a DraftKings thing here, so I'm just going to go over and shoot a little free throw like Gary Trent Jr. Is trying to do for the Raptors, although we continue to lose, which is a good thing. So keep up the shitty play, Raptors, because you need a better draft pick, and we'll be back. We'll sign Kyle Lowry, and we'll be back next year, hopefully with a big man, and we'll see what happens. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers on that signing of Andre Drummond. I think that pushes them over the top there. Okay, DraftKings continues to go upside here, so my only target, like I said, 59.40. If we can get upside rate, I mean, why am I worried about 40 when it's already at 30? Let's take a piece off for DraftKings. It's a $1 winner. We like it.
And let's go with never use it. Tesla, why not? We got the stock logo for that one. It just turned at 610, so a little bit of a turn, 609.90 in particular. So wants to try to roll back in here. The market is still trying to scream to the upside. The thing about Tesla, and the reason why I actually don't mind getting out some shares if we make a retest halfway to that 610 area, is you can always take a 610 break. You can also maybe get back on a dip. I like a dip probably better to like 602.50 than I do a 605, guys, but the breakout has worked in Tesla so far. What has not just yet, however, is that HOV. I do get some more shares at 6 even.
Hove.
It's making that test back. Young Hove in the building.
It's Young Hove.
Hall of Fame here, but I love Hove. He's an absolute champion. They don't make them like they used to. Anyways, I'm gonna dig into some more shares if it goes back below 605, but I'm not giving this past 610 because I want to test back at that 620 to 625 that I mentioned earlier. So it's a relative tight stop on this HOV trade because I'm short at 97s and still haven't even added into this one above 6 yet. So 610 is all I'll give it to, but I want to be patient with this. And I'll take Tesla off if you give me a $4 win, with the idea that I can get back in on a 610 break. So if you have direct market access and multiple trades like we'll usually do, that's not a bad plan. But if you're trying to buy and hold, maybe you don't have that approach.
Okay, guys, like we're at the highest spot we've been at all day here, and you can see why. It should be quite obvious. I mean, the market right now just Rip City to the oopsies. Just got out of something I didn't mean to. Rip City here to the upside. But DraftKings, we do a nice out there. We talked about getting out at 20. That's like right here. So that makes sense to me. I was like, why am I waiting for 40? That's just like a psychological level at that 50. We always talk about getting out at 50, but then a quick look at the chart made this out pretty obvious. Just wish. Actually, no, I don't wish I got out of them all. I'm holding half of what we have left, so whatever. We'll wait on that one, but a nice little pickup there. We're still trading off this bottom, and then we added to it there. So now you can see my price is probably that last one. Yeah, 58.65. So a nice little win there on DraftKings. And just looking back at it, yeah, should have been taken out. Maybe all of it, but whatever. I'm still hoping for an upside surprise. More on that. Palantir stops at the same levels at 50. Let's get a little bit more out as things just moving for us here. Wow, what a good day this has turned out to be. As I sort of just giggle here because the long coming in on some of these names and the market really not doing anything. Viacom tests that 48. So hell yeah, we'll hit the air horn for everyone to wake up a little bit because Viacom today was a gift, man. Down here, 45, 46. That was huge. All you had to do was hold it a little bit, and now you go up to 48. So that's just, making us all pretty happy there. And SOS, wish there was more happening. We got some out at 61, man. We're short at 64 or whatever. What am I short at? Yeah, no, 63s. We're waiting in the middle here. Not much happening, but there goes Viacom, hopefully breaking through 48 again.
And when there's not much happening, sometimes laying the cut like a ninja, wait for the breakout trade. I did say if we roll over and start to turn off a 610 in Tesla, I would get out with the idea that I get back in. So I will take off like about the just shy of the $4 winner at 609, just in case it bounces down. I want to be able to reload into it or take the break, which is looming here. Just got into a bit of a break trade. If it does that same move where it tries to fade to the first obvious level, like that 612 from yesterday at the close, I definitely like scalping at least some off to take some of that profit, and then see if you can hold the rest into those teams that we talked about a little bit earlier. So Tesla, test 2, 605 break, now the 610 break, $1 in the money. We're sending you guys to Brennan at the big screen because it's time for Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at the S&P 500, see what is in charge so far today. I stood up here just before the open, and we were talking about some of the upgrades and downgrades. One of those was an airline, and I mentioned it would be interesting to see what happens with the airlines today. There they are, the entire group up more than 2%. FedEx being dragged along with it, but nice day for some of the transportation stocks leading overall in the industrial group. So industrial stocks are strong. Consumer discretionary stocks also getting a bump, led by these two right now, CCL and NCLH. Cruise lines also in positive territory, along with some of the hotels that are following right behind. Gap down here, L Brands 3.5% to 4%. Look at GM having quite the day, 4% to the upside today for GM. Ford is here. Pretty sure that's Tesla. Right beside it there, but we'll have to double check on that. Tapestry as well, also in positive territory, and Under Armour. So these two groups really making up most of the strength. Some of the banks, as we mentioned, right out of the gate this morning, very strong. Insurance names, pretty much the entire group here in positive territory. But look at the individual banks, the entire group, all positive on the day, leading the way. Tech stocks, not so much. 174, 175 still on the U.S. 10-year. So some of these names really getting hit today. AVGO 4% to the downside. Basically the entire semiconductor group lower. DXC standing out. I mentioned earnings and also an upgrade on DXC today. Far corner, real estate stocks are strong. And then there we go. Discovery, A and B class. Viacom is here as well, 4.3% to the upside now, and ATVI offsetting that 2.6% downside. Overall, I mean, it's not bad, 0.34%, guys, for the overall market. Back to you.
So I want to answer the question. Brent, you asked if I added to PFMT. Not yet, because I was too busy getting shaken out of that. And by shaken, I mean kind of making a bit of a keystroke error here. It gave me that scalp trade, like that first little dollar trade that we had last time on Tesla. And I was like, okay, we'll do that to the buck. We'll throw the stop in, and we'll hold to like 614. Instead of putting a stop order in, I actually punched out of the shares, and it snapped back to the upside when it happened. I'm like, do I want to get back in at 611, 612 when I want to be in at 610? I decided not to. Obviously the wrong decision. You've seen Tesla continue to go. That's the thing. If you're not going to be active, if you're just buying and holding, you don't have any of those problems. If you're trying to do the little bit of like take one break, get out in front of the next level, take the next break, then manage that way, you do run the risk, of course, that level of over trading can make you miss out on a bit of the move. So as much as Tesla's going to be up for me on the day and I can't complain, a bit of a mistake getting that stop order in for me, which is kind of a pain in the butt. I did not get more shares of that PFMT as Tesla does go to that target, but CSCW I did, and that one is heading southbound. When we come back from Brennan, we'll review that trade.
Could there be possible signs of life here, guys? 2010 at the bottom end of ARKX. We are breaking new highs here, or higher highs, I should say, on this Cathie Wood ARKX ETF, showing some strength, guys.
That's hilarious.
It's the market.
I literally just tweeted this out. Literally, like my kids say. We'll refresh it, see what's going on here. Just tweeted out, and I tweeted out all the holdings for ARKX so you guys can see all those. And then I just simply asked the question, guys, any names surprise you here? So we'll see what happens to the downside for some of these names, but ARKX moving around. So I put the tweet here. You guys can see if that's coming through, but we'll see, guys. Let me know. For me, I told you what it was. It was Netflix. Surprised me. And then someone else tweeted there, Workhorse. So yeah, Tencent is in there as well. You can see there's a whole bunch of names anyways. Maybe the US dollar. Where's Bitcoin up in here? But anyways, yeah, so that's that. Just give some fun. If you guys want to go head over to our Twitters and find that over there, and we'll see what you vote for. For me, it was Netflix. I think that's kind of an easy one, but we'll wait. Workhorse too, I guess. What's going on with Roblox? Talk about technology and my kids. We've averaged in, I now own 2 shares of Roblox. So I believe we bought some at 65.50 to go with the 73 or 4, something that we have. So right now Roblox down and continues to get hit. You know, these new IPOs, man, I mean, this is not going to be an investment. I don't know what you guys think about Roblox, but we'll have to wait for their first. Like, I'm not going to actually put real money into this name until we see that first earnings report. So I just want to see what Roblox is all about. I know they're making a lot of money on some of those transactions, but they were running negative huge. Like, I don't know what it was. I'm gonna throw out like 400 million or something they lost last year. So that's, I mean, for a new company, that seems to be the norm, but we'll wait to see what Roblox wants to do now. Taking out these 64.50 level could be a decent trade on the downside. Oh yeah, my best friend ever, not, but we'll see. Pigs get slaughtered on this one. But there it is. We gave the call, and that's why my net is just rocking up here, man. $1 now, 20 in the money on this last DraftKings buy. We got out too early, that's obvious, but I said we had a chance to take this out. So here we go. DraftKings up to $60 again, $1.15. I mean, look, if you're not having fun on the show, I mean, like, okay, you know, I'm putting on real positions here with real shares. DraftKings, $1.20 in the money. Palantir, 50 cents now in the money. SOS, 5 cents in the money. But was a better trade early. And then Viacom, $2 in the money. So we've got 4 positions on. They're all in the money. Cry me a river. Today's a much better day as the market's still not up, but we picked our poison. The only stock that we missed really that we should have had was GE. I had this 1304 with a 1285 bottom. Should have had that one, but we don't. So we'll move on, but that's GE. We'll look at that tomorrow.
Yeah, and Tesla just turned off that 615 area, so we would give you that target. Of course, I got wicked out. It was 605 to 610. 610. That's at 615. CSCW, of course, there's only one price I've actually gotten in since the pre-market. That was at that $2 break. I did get back into this one at 95s. It's now rounding back down like 10 cents in the money and looking like it's going to head even lower. I still think like 150 is a good level for that one to get. Of course, I still hung on to that PFMT. I never added to it, but we did hang on to the shares as it finally starts to break again through VWAP. It needs to take out this little bottom here and get to like 210 before I get more shares off in front of two even as well. And then if it rolls back up towards this 225, I'm willing to add, but it's still bouncing off VWAP in my estimation, so I'd rather get good prices closer to that 230 than dig in too hard far away from it. Believe it or not, I actually got all out of that Agbar stock as it started to get, it's AG, BA. I hate 5-letter symbols, guys. It finally looked like it made a bit of a turn here when I got more shares at 50, and then it broke was a big seller at like 52, 53. So I'm now waiting for a bigger pop. If this makes any kind of a push up back into like the 65 to 70 cent range, I'll go for it there. But I rode that train from $1. I was shorting it. Right here in the pre-market, we shorted at 98, and then shorted at 78 and 78, and then shorted at 75. We're getting all the way down. My last entries were at that 50 market. It could not crack 45. So it's 10% return, but the stock was at 250 in the pre-market and came all the way to 50 cents. At some point, it was probably going to turn a little bit. Looked like it has here, but I'll still short any pop if it makes a move back into 75. Brendo?
This Canoe Incorporated, guys, GoEV had quite the bounce here from 850 to 950 in a straight line. We're right back to this prior all-time low, which was 968, 970. So heads up on GoEV trying to bounce, guys.
All right, and a heads up on NIO. So do you guys think this was a good out here, like 35.50? Yeah, it's at $37. So we picked up NIO on the downside and did well. It is one of my top stocks today for sure. But yeah, like that's how you know, again, you know, if it's a top stock of mine and we're only taking like 70 cents there, at best there, 80 cents. Look at that move, man. We got to hold on. Some days I hold and nothing happens, and some days we pop off. So the only thing I'm proud of holding right now is DraftKings and Palantir, as they both now at day's high, man. Palantir, Rip City up to 65. This is a great trade. We put it on our list here. We didn't post this today, but you can see there Palantir right at the bottom. Where is it? 21 there with the hold on Palantir. And then the Viacom, man, 43 hold, 47 break. We have all of that. There's those NIO 3450s, man. That's what we are defending. I could see the chart clear as day. And then PayPal. Let's check out on PayPal. I'll put my sticky note up tomorrow for you guys. PayPal here. It'll be more detailed. Oh, 234, yeah. That would have been a good one. You had to hold that a little bit against you if you took that early, but 234. Look at this hold right here. A little bit of consolidation downside. if this wasn't a great log, 233.70, then Bob's your uncle, because that was a fantastic trade. Look at this bottom, and then look at the consolidation. Damn it, we missed that one on PayPal. What a great, I mean, let's show that again, guys, just for education purposes, one more time. This bottom right here holds yesterday at 3 o'clock, and also is the breakout spot there at 233.70. So lick your lips over that PayPal trade. Too bad we didn't have it. That was a great one. Up $3 from there. But hey, man, we're just on fire with everything else. So let's just keep this party going.
I don't know if we talked about VTSI, but I saw a few people mention in the chat when it halted a couple of times this morning, guys. So it was a bit of a violent trade. I didn't love the setup because of the whips that it was putting in here, and we got late to be able to get any shortable shares on it as well. But since the down halt, it's got this like hold here at like 787, 80, even right around VWAP, and it also holds the bottom. So I'd be very, very cautious that this one could give you a bit of a breakout through this like 790 to 8 even, maybe retest those highs. I'd much prefer to be shorting like that $9 area or a break through the bottom on this particular name. But I'd be eyeballs on this like 787 break through the top here. It's done so much volume, 40 million shares, and now it's the range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter, which does portend to a bit of a breakout. Speaking of small caps, we've gone to Brendan for small caps, we've gone to Brendan for our sector watch. Now it's time for Money Talks.
Yeah, currency time. Let's go into currency land, see what's happening so far today. There's some US dollar underlying strength coming back into the market a little bit, so you can see a lot of these in negative territory today. The euro, the Canadian dollar, British pound downside. It's all about 0.3% all the way down. Australia and New Zealand also to the downside. Big jump again today in the Turkish lira, trying to rebound after they fired their central bank governor going back a couple of weeks ago. We saw that huge crash for the Turkish lira, but back to the upside once again. Both the Japanese yen and Swiss franc higher, 0.5% each on the day. Typical for a volatile day to see those higher. Here we go with cryptos. Yeah, this is a daily chart of Bitcoin, so we're getting back up to these highs once again. Just tested that 59,000 area, coming back to the downside a little, but holding on to 2.8%. Ethereum 1.6%, and Ripple up as well today, about 1%. Guys, back over to you.
Nice to see, nice to see some Bitcoin. You know that we're all over ADA as well. Cardano today 122, so a good little price action there for that name. And I don't know, I don't want to get too carried away and make new positions here, as the Nasdaq's not doing a whole hell of a lot. So I'm just kind of chilling out, watching this Viacom. Probably should have took it out when we were at that 48 level. A little greed there, never a bad thing, but in this case, should have taken some out, or we only had one piece left, that's why. So we were waiting for that 50. So if we had more shares, we probably would have taken it out, but Viacom right there, that's really the only idea that I have waiting for that one coming.
And that 10% move, it does come in. I'll go with like boom, because we don't hit our sort of old school Batman themed animation there. If you guys know Adam West, yeah, I'm old enough to have watched not that show live, but what was popular in the 80s. CSCW, it's only the 195 entry. We've had a couple of times here since the open. A couple of shots in the pre-market, only 1 for 3 there. And now we're going to go 2 for 2 since the open. Now it's still trending back down towards that 155 target, so my bids are out. You asked Brent on the chat whether I got that PFMT. The answer was no. When it went up to like 220, the answer now that it's come back to 230, the answer is yes. I have now reloaded into this one. 229 is my price. I was waiting around for it to get some chop into this particular zone, because if it's going to test the high of the day, I don't want to be short, like 215 or 220 or 225. The level I decided I liked was this rollover at 230, so I'll kind of stick to that, because I'm taking some out in front of VWAP for 10 pennies, and I'm taking some out like around this like 210 area again for what will be about 15, 20 cents in that range. So the risk reward has to be there, and to me, it's not shorting at 220 when this is an uptrending stock. It's up 55% on the session. You're seeing nothing but power moves to the upside, guys. So you have to pick your spots if you're going to be playing that game. To go back over to Tesla here just for a quick second, it does roll over at that 615 area, so as much as I might have bungled that secondary entry to that breakout trade, it does give you the move into 615, and then the reversal at that same price. Now the market, the ES, turned at 39.50 at the exact same time. I mean, obviously that kind of makes some sense, and the Nasdaq turning at those highs as well. So if we get some consolidation at the top and the market takes out the high, you're looking for Tesla to maybe crack that 615 and continue the train ride upside towards that chop area, like that 630, 640, which would be very nice if we got to, guys. But of course, the market might be the story there, as we're kind of turning over just a little bit here.
Yeah, the market's turning over a bit here, but again, I think we can find some bases here, and it won't be a big monster move either way. I want to check back. Thank God, SOS. Just checking back on the short that we have, it did kick us out some. Now we have a small piece at 54, so we were able to get that. And you know, when you're sitting there waiting for prices, sometimes they come in, right? So that was a good one. AMC was actually funny because it does break 9. I didn't even acknowledge when this happened. It didn't even register with me because we were out a lot there, and then we got out the last piece on AMC. So we're basically flat on this trade. I didn't even realize we went down as low as 975 there on AMC. If you bring this back, let's go to like a 5-minute chart here, see if there's any levels at all that we can look at if the chart loads. There it is, like 975. Yeah, no, I don't think I would have. Yeah, I probably would have waited for at least a 950, even a test back down here to 9. So I don't feel like we missed that trade, but again, to protect this 10 seems pretty nice here on AMC. So a 5-minute chart shows not much happening, but we are trying to break a little bit higher. Let's go quickly back to a 1 minute on this name and just see how high did. Okay, so VWAP's at 11 there. Still not much interest there for me. There goes Viacom. This is the level that I'm debating getting out, 47.50. It can print and we can get out if that does come through, but I'm holding out for 48 break. I still think we can get up there and then test 50. So I want to have something on board. Otherwise, I think it's probably worth getting out. If you're scalping this thing and you're pretty light on it and you're almost out, hold, but if you still have a decent amount of shares, this is a great spot, man. 47.40. It's bounced off a couple times there, so don't be too concerned about 48. If you have a big position, this seems prudent to get some out here because we probably retest VWAP. Look how many times. This is like a block up here at 47.50, guys.
Yeah, and just from Viacom to one of the other Flash Friday names here, that VIPS, VIPS. Remember there's that 32.50 area from yesterday, and that's going to be that top right at the open. It failed to get through on the 52 break through 52.50. I took my long out in front of 32, but now we're getting consolidation off the top end of that range. It bounced once. I tried shorting it, lost 15 pennies, and then came all the way back down, not quite to VWAP, but testing 31 even here before making another run at the top. If 32.50 goes, I like that break for the afternoon, but it does feel like it's going to have some trouble getting to that particular price. So if you're watching overall in some of these names, there's a little bit closer to the breakout than on the top is VIPS, in my opinion, than that Viacom. And I'm going to like it through that 32.50 whenever it does happen. Maybe it's not going to be during the shows. We only have about half an hour left to go, but it's certainly in the afternoon. You know how most of the volatile moves have happened on some of those stocks from Friday have been in the afternoon. And just to go back to another one of those names, like Tencent Music, and why I say closer to the top end break is VIPS. Tencent's back at VWAP. The same thing with Viacom, just a little bit closer to the lower end of these trades, whereas continuously it just feels like VIPS has been closer to that top than the other two. Certainly there have been buybacks in all of these names, in a chunk of these names, Tencent and VIPS as well. So that leads to some of that strength. But relatively speaking, I like that VIPS up 12%, double what you see in TME, which has been a good trade. It's just Viacom and VIPS have been better. That's all.
Yeah, Viacom's been huge. Okay, looking at, I want to look back at GE here in case it falls. There's Ford. There's a couple, it's not falling. That 1304, I want to, nightmare for me. Should have had that one. 1230, I didn't even write down any levels on Ford, but we're pretty high. Again, breaking some of those yesterday levels. Up here, 1225, what a great trade that was. But again, if you take that early, like I was talking about, I'm just showing you guys these because I used to always take these breakouts, but they haven't been great early. You need to sort of wait for the move down and then make sure you can catch some key levels. So that's 1212. There's a lot of consolidation here yesterday on Ford. And once again, another missed opportunity. But you know what? Like I said, sometimes it pays off to speak with Cathie Wood. And there you go. No, I haven't spoken with her. Upside 2165, man. We're taking it out right now. A nice, yes, sir, man. Hit the floss. We are just running some of these stocks today, guys. Viacom, $1.50 in the money. Palantir, 50 cents in the money. Buy. These were buy. No, sorry, those are covering shorts. This was a buy, right? This went against us, and I was like, oh man, what's going to happen now? Did I buy, inappropriately there? And then we take an opportunity to buy it again, and now you're ripping to the north side here on PLTR. So that was a great buy. And there we go. We have some bids following up now. So good trading on that one. DraftKings, this is the hero trade of the day for sure. Let's hear some cheers because DraftKings now, man, we get jiggy with it early and then we just defend all the way to the bottom. And now we break back above 60 here on DraftKings. So looking at some levels, man, maybe 60-50 would be really nice to get out. So, I mean, we can even get out now. This is some consolidation here, 60-17, 60-25. I think it's worth it on this NASDAQ move up. DraftKings with the home run, man, maybe the best trade right there for me today. We roll the dice and we hold some. We even get back in down there, right? So now DraftKings finally paying off to the upside, that nice little 3.3%. So we'll take it and we'll run, man, $1.50 in the money on DKNG.
Yeah, I love it. We're going to go with sometimes you have to be willing to fall on the grenade. And defending that 58 makes a lot of sense there. I saw a couple people talking about this plug. So I'm just going to mention making a breakout here. Look, this got crushed in yesterday's action, but with potential, I guess, green energy and infrastructure maybe coming through here, the speculation, we are testing towards almost all the way back from the open at yesterday's prices at 33.50 area. Looks like it's going to be an interesting one if it can get there. I have to go back to that CSCW. We told you the plan of action, so we'll show the actual results here. It's continuing to test at 175, so that works in the money for us. And then PFMT, like I said, Brand, I was going to wait for the reload up here because I want to get some out in front of VWAP. That's exactly what we do. I still have some bids, and these are in when I shorted it, back here at 11 o'clock. When I shorted it back here at like 10:30 or so, the last entry was just before 11. Got out of VWAP before. I'm going to take some out of VWAP just the same way I did. A little bit more aggressive on the first exit at 21s instead of 20s, but that's splitting hairs. And my bids are still down in front of 10 even, 210, and then 205. And I'll throw some bids in front of 2 if it gets down there, guys. That's just one of those things for these short side trades. You're going against the grain. You have to be a little bit careful and watch out for VIPs. I said it might give that break a little bit sooner than the rest. And here it goes, trying to get through 32 again. Remember, it's yesterday's top at 32.50. We like for that secondary breakout. That could come in the afternoon, guys. But either way, VIPS, very, very strong today. I did take mine off for only like $1.70 win, and maybe there could be more to be had, but it leveled off. That's what I was looking for. Now I want that 32.50 break. And just to go back over to Tesla, guys, over in the NASDAQ, still, come on, flip. There we go. Still holding consolidation at the top. Now, if the market turns, look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 times on a 1 minute. It's holding like a 611.50. I mean, if it breaks down, there's probably a bit of a scalp trade, like $2 or $3 off of that 611 break that takes you maybe into that previous high at 606.50, the one that failed in the break at 9:30, and then we took the break the second time. So I'd watch it out. It's more of a scalper's trade if you're shorting that 611, but the market is trying to turn here a little bit to the downside. If it cannot break through, Tesla likely to give you a couple of bucks through 611. Brendo?
Yeah, a bit of a slow day so far. Novartis just popping up here as well at this point. Day highs, some volume coming in through 160 here. They got EU approval for one of their trial drugs that is up and coming. So NOVN up 20% today on that, guys.
I don't want to short anything, but if I was going to short something, I think it would be NEO right now, up to, what is that day's high, 37.03. I think it's probably worth, wow, Palantir, guys. Yes, sir, 63 cents now in the money as we put a smile on our face because we're making the money today. So, I don't know. It's happy times around here today for sure, as everybody trading quite well, and I hope you guys are as well. This may be a spot just to get out. I mean, Palantir, how high can we fly, man? I mean, 22, 21. I think we get some out for sure right now. Let's just start a baby position on NEO with the short, so we'll do that right now, and we'll only give it to the high of 37.10 or so. Not going to give back anything on NEO. We've crushed it. We just didn't hold it for enough. So we'll see if the NASDAQ is exhausted here. This may not be the right stock to short, but if we can get back into 36.60, we'll do that. Short now 92 or 91 here on NEO, and bang, there it goes, man. Chicken dinner winners for DraftKings as that is up to 60.20 right now and still making moves, man. So big win for DraftKings, $1.50 in the money there, $1.80 in the money on Viacom, and 70 cents in the money on Palantir. I'm going to get out of Palantir, guys. 22 is the best I think this can go anyways. So let's take $1 right now, 70 cents on Palantir, and then hit the confetti and just celebrate that win as NEO retracing back to the downside.
It's getting pretty slow here on that SOS, but I'm still, and I've had this in for a while. The longer it holds the bottom at 450, and it's made higher lows at least a couple of times here, I still have that 477. It's like a 476 top here, guys. So 477 breakout. It's just more of a gap fill kind of situation here. You can definitely get that scalp into $5 if it makes a move. Agbar finally start on the move again as well, so I'm going to start shorting that puppy. I've gotten away from it for too long. It's just been all morning long. It's basically been a heaping pile of something. You guys can use your imagination. But the last time it bounced off this level, it couldn't get through 50, bounced, couldn't get through like 58 to the upside. So this time I'm going to fade into that 58, keep on shorting it. I know, like, sometimes you see a stock gets retraced this much and you're like, well, how can you possibly short it when it's already done this? Well, if I had said there's no way I'm shorting it at $1 when it's just come from 250, then you're not getting the move all the way down to 80. And if you're like, I'm not willing to short 80 when it's come down to $1.70, then you don't get that from 80 to 60, and kind of so on and so forth. So there's something to be said. Sometimes you buy high, sell higher. Sometimes you short low and buy back even lower. It's not all about buying dips and shorting tops. Sometimes you have to be a bit more aggressive. Time for Brendan, sorry, not Miss B, the big three.
Real quick, guys, just wanted to mention WFC ripping here to the upside on big time volume. They just came out and said they will not and have not experienced losses when it comes to that Archegos liquidation, guys.
I mean, just rewind the tape to 8:30. I told you it was a nothing burger story. Okay, here we come. Here comes Neo to the downside. Right now, we already took some off at 82, off of our 92 short. Or what do I have? 92 or 91? A 91 short, so that's 10 cents. And then we have some, lower ideas downside here if we can go, including bids at 71. Here we go. So getting excited now to the downside. We did take out that Palantir. That was a good trade. It appears out at 21.83. So yeah, some good ideas flowing through. V, give us another one.
Hey Sean, Lizzie is the name from the chat. Stock is up around 16%, guys.
Haven't looked at Lizzie, but we are taking some money out of Neo right now. Down, we just took a 76 bid off of this 92 short. So running the stocks both ways there. We talked about that short at 37, giving it to the high. Still could lose on this, but if the NASDAQ does pull back a little bit, we do like it. And just an update, $1.50, $1.60 now was our best trade, was $1.70 in the money on DraftKings. If it breaks 60, we down, we'll put that $1.40 in our pocket on a 60 break at DraftKings. Let's see if it wants to keep on going. But for now, it's a 60 break or bust for me on DKNG, guys.
Yeah, I mean, DraftKings really testing that level and still testing 3250 on VIPs. I do see Lizzie up here. It's up 15%. Big volume spike off of like a multi-day low at 7 even. You're right back into, you got to go back into the 25th when you had this little top here at like 840, 850. A couple of wicks as it failed to break out through there. And then sort of a hard top at that same price area, 35s. That's exactly where it turns into. And this is why you see us do this when we talk about these gapping up or sort of running stocks or whatever you want to call them here, parabolic movers. You look at that higher time frame for where it's going to likely slow down. So I usually like consolidations off this level. The only thing that's not huge here is it's 1.2 million shares in volume and not a ton of liquidity. It wouldn't be the number one name that I would be interested in, but not a horrible entry off of like an 815. And if you're long this, you're like, well, if it breaks back below 790, oh, what's that level here? 788, bounce off 790. Yeah, if it takes that one out and you're long from 7 even, that's 10% right there, and you should be taking at least some profits for a swing trade idea if that's what you're into there. So if I was long, I wouldn't let 790 go. If I was looking for a short and it had better volume, it would be around that 815 level. But 1.2 million shares and volume dying off, not necessarily my cup of tea. Finally, SOS. It's been like, I don't know how long it's been basing out in that range, but SOS finally breaks that 476. So it's making that move to the upside. I got 76 half because our routing keys are awesome and this level 2 did not want to move. So there you go, guys, finally. So it broke that 76. I got 76 half like I just mentioned, so it's still basing out. Now keep in mind how long it took for it to make this move. There's a decent chance I will be, like I can hold this one down to 450 and I might actually be in this thing for the rest of the day for it to either get to 5 or to break 450. So there's a decent chance it might have slowed down a ton. If that's really the case, there is always an opportunity to buy back in some at VWAP here and start scalping it every 5 or 10 cents because maybe that's the only way to make the coin here. Slowing down, of course, post-offering, all kinds of movement when Sean brought it to you guys in the pre-market. Now it's a bit of a different story as it's range bound. I like the break of the range.
So about shorting Neo right now, we took some out. So this was the thing, 92, out 84s, out 77s, and then out on a 37 break to the upside. So like a flat trade, but I'm super happy because the market continues to rip up. The only thing is, looking at Palantir, it looks like we got out at 83, now ripping to 90. Look at DKNG, now at 60.50, guys. This is a $2 winner on DKNG and a $2 winner on Viacom as well today. So back-to-back jacks here as the market getting ready to explode to the upside if it's not already. NASDAQ trying to go positive. A little bit of work to go. We need to get above this mark, obviously. And if it can take out some of that pre-market high there, obviously there's higher, but this is a nice little level that people were looking at in the pre-market. So let's wait to see if it can get above 12,885 here on the NASDAQ to the upside. I like it. We'll just have to see if the rest of the market wants to take Viacom to 48. But right now, DraftKings, man, are out is 60 even. I'm adjusting that to 60 and a quarter right now, playing some of this momentum upside. Don't want to, drop it down. There's 60.37. Here's 60 and a quarter. I always play off quarters. So let's give it 60 and a quarter. Why not? DraftKings with another monster win. I hope you guys liked the trading today. It's been a doozy.
Yeah, it has certainly been a doozy, and rocket ships to the upside, at least off those bottoms. We're still not even positive on the ES, but we're getting very close to it. In the NASDAQ halfway, so 0.5% still to the downside. If there's a negative to SOS finally breaking out and getting me that long position and now in the money a few pennies, it's the fact that at the same time I missed the rollover and an ad. So bounce off, get short at 230 on PFMT, get some out at VWAP, try to hold the rest, get back in around the same price, get some out at VWAP, try to hold the rest, comes right back up, give me the same entry. I could have had an even better price, but I do miss that one. So I don't love just sort of sitting there with orders in front of the high of the day. I prefer to have it test the level I'm looking at and then get in on the way down. Say it over and over again. It's a better way to manage risk when you're counter trend, just at least from my approach. Otherwise, you can get run over and then be put to a decision, and you're a little bit late to analyzing. I'd rather see it test the level, see what happens when it fails at that 233, 234. I'm not going to chase this entry here. It is what it is. But because I did miss a portion of that entry, I still got to take some off every time it bounces off VWAP as long as the trend continues. It would just be unfortunate that I wasn't able to add back into position. So it is what it is, but I have to follow my rules. Of course, SOS, I said, wouldn't it be a good idea to scalp every 5 pennies on this one? So I go in through an order to try and scalp at the first 5 penny mark, and it goes right there to the offer and then starts to bounce back. I think that's going to be the name of the game. Every time I take some off 5 or 10 cents or in that 5 to 10 cent range, it gives me more room to add on any kind of a dip. And if it wants to be range bound and do 50 million shares, I think we can take advantage of it. I think you were slowing down a little bit on that DraftKings, Sean.
Yeah.
VIPS is slowing down. I thought it was going to make this break and then give me that 32.50. Wow, it just fell asleep at 32.25 here, so it's also slowing down a heck of a lot. I feel like the broader market is making some moves, and then some of these like bigger flyers that had the big returns are slowing down off the top. So maybe a bit of a change happening here in the market as these runners from the Friday flush are starting to slow down off the top, and the rest of the market is catching up.
WFC, Brendan brought this to us before. I did see this trade and kind of ignored it because I had thought everyone knew that this was nothing, but apparently no. So we go long now through 40. There it is. We take the 40 break. Let's give it some love here as it's going to the upside. There goes WFC. I don't know. Let's see if we get some out at 9 or 10. That may have been the top there. This is a very, very light trade. I mean, what time is it? 11:30. We're getting ready for a great interview. Brendan's getting ready for that. But right now, WFC... we just took it at 40 there. I'll give it to 39.70. This little level, if it does actually, maybe the start, let's just give it to the start here, 39.80. If it wants to fail, it can come right back in and let us do that. So we'll give that trade some love, but 39, maybe down here, 39.67. That was a big move. I probably shouldn't have done that. Just got a little excited there on the WFC break of 40, but still more to come here, guys. Let's drop this off if it goes below 39.70. We're trying it for you on WFC.
You better believe it. So at this time of day, you're sort of fishing for some extra profits. You don't want to necessarily overtrade. You pick your spots. You're patient. Sean waiting for WFC, which we knew there were some names at least affected and some that hadn't been, and there was speculation. Now we know Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. We didn't know anything about some of the other banks there. I waited forever on SOS, and it finally does come in. There we go, 81, 84, 88. We'll take some out if it breaks 90. We'll take some out on the way to 5 even. It's just one of those things where you finally, the tighter the range, the longer that it holds up, the more I'm going to like that scalp breakout trade. And here SOS making moves to the upside. So we're very happy about that as we try to shred the profits away on that particular name. I just haven't used that one in a while, so I want to make sure I got it in. It is that time. Brennan is, as he always does, about to give you another fantastic interview. It's our guest of the day. Let's go to the desk.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Yeah, the psychedelic medical space continues to be an ever-expanding and growing space that we've been talking about over the past few weeks with exciting opportunities. Numinus Wellness Incorporated is a Canadian-based healthcare and a healthcare company. Joining us today is Payton Nyquvest, CEO and chairman of Numinus. Good to see you, Payton. Thanks for coming on today and sharing your story with us. It's a really interesting story, as I mentioned earlier on the show, and I want to make sure we get into the key points here. Why don't we start things off with just an introduction across the board? A lot of people may be hearing the name for the first time. Tell us a little bit about Numinus Wellness.
Yeah, so Numinus was started about 3 years ago. Myself coming to the space really as a patient first. Psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy had saved my life, and came out of that experience trying to figure out how best to support this growing body of research that was being created by a lot of extremely credible academic research institutions and not-for-profit groups. At the time, there was really no corporate interest in the psychedelic space. And so we started Numinus really, how can we work alongside all this amazing research that was being created, and seeing that, there was very quickly an industry that was being created and an infrastructure that was going to be needed in order to really support all this research as it moves out of the research lab and into actual practice.
So when we look at, a statement like the company's, aiming at curing instead of managing some of these diseases, that's a bold statement. Tell us a little bit about, where we are today as far as the progress that's being made and what you see going forward in, the possibilities of possibly, curing some of these problems.
Yeah, I think the way we've treated mental health conditions for a long time, whether it's anxiety, depression, suicidality, all of the addiction, these are typically, we treat them with SSRIs and we put you on a prescription and sort of monitor that for the rest of your life. Whereas with psychedelics, truly they have curative intent. I think, if you refer back to some of the research that MAPS, for example, with their MDMA for PTSD study that they've been doing, which is in currently phase 3 clinical trials, shows an over 70% success rate with treating treatment-resistant post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's after a 6 to 12-month window. So what's being shown is that these therapies do actually cure these ailments that are really plaguing society today, versus some of the call it Band-Aid solutions that we've been given over the last while.
Payton Nyquvest is chairman and CEO of Numinus Wellness, joining us today. Let's talk about the sector or the market in general when it comes to psychedelic medical treatments and the possibility of, furthering these. Give us your thoughts on the overall sector. Where do we stand today, and where does a company like Numinus, want to place themselves in that market?
I think we're just barely out of the gate in regards to this space. We're still in a research phase of growth in the industry. But I think for us, we have 3 value chains to the company, and really all the way from the initial stages of drug development all the way to clinical practice. And I think for Numinus and the rest of the industry, it's the very, very beginnings, but the research is really showing that this is definitely something that not only is here to stay, but has the potential to create a huge impact in healthcare.
So the company recently announced the acquisition of Montreal-based, I want to get this right, Mindspace Psychology Services Incorporated. When you hear a term like psychedelic programming, when it's in relation to a company, tell us first a little bit about what that means, psychedelic programming, and then also maybe elaborate a little bit on the idea behind the acquisition and what does it bring to Numinus?
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing for people to understand is we're talking about psychedelic assisted psychotherapy, and so when we talk about psychedelic programming, it's the therapy that you go through that does use psychedelic substances, but also what is the container that psychedelic therapy needs to fit into in order to really be effective for people. It's not as easy as just offering a psychedelic treatment for somebody and sending them on their way. There's a lot of integration work, there's a lot of preparation work, and with the acquisition of Mindspace, who has really, over the last 10 years, built a robust program around mental health programming and, been quite involved with the early training of practitioners and setting up the structure for psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. So it's a really value add acquisition for us and, really points to our growth trajectory going forward this year.
So the company focuses on three main goals or targets. In this case, lab work. We have therapeutic protocols, and the third, the clinical trials. Let's talk a little bit about each of these. Where's the main focus the company is putting its efforts into, and having kind of a multifaceted approach to the industry. Tell us a little bit about how that gives you an advantage.
Yeah, so the three business lines, Numinus Health, Numinus Bioscience, and Numinus R&D, starting with Numinus Health, which is really our service offering platform and where we see, a huge amount of growth potential for the company going forward over the next couple of years, is setting up that infrastructure to be able to actually provide access to psychedelic assisted psychotherapy and that supportive mental health program that we mentioned as well. Numinus Bioscience is our Health Canada licensed lab and production facility that not only can do analytical testing, but also distribution of a number of different psychedelics, including LSD, ketamine, psilocybin, MDMA, mescaline. And really, the robust licensing there gives us the opportunity to not only develop unique, formulation for production of some of these psychedelics, including psilocybin, but also to be a partner for a number of groups who are now looking to do work in the space.
And Numinus,
and then finally,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and finally with Numinus R&D, which is where we do all of our clinical protocol development, as well as we have two trials that we'll be launching this summer. One is in collaboration with MAPS, supporting the MDMA for post-traumatic stress disorder study, as well as we have a psilocybin study for substance use disorder that will be getting launched this summer as well.
So the company recently, I apologize for interrupting, the company recently received some amendments to that license. Let's talk a little bit about the amendments to the license and what that means for Numinus.
Yeah, so we had some amendments to our production license to include the production of ketamine and LSD, as well as some of the other substances. So continue to just be a great initiator for, as you mentioned, this really growing space. You've seen a lot of companies now raise quite a significant amount of capital and are looking to do work in this space. And there's quite a high barrier to entry in this space. And so for us to be able to offer production and analytical testing for a number of these psychedelics, create our own methods and developments around production, and then be able to be a source for other groups looking to do work.
Payton Nyquvest, CEO and chairman of Numinus Wellness, joining us today. Payton, we have a really interesting question coming in from the audience, one of the viewers wanting to know, if you're a therapist trained in this space, they're just inquiring how they can maybe get in touch with you to get into one of the offices under development, and they want to know whether you're hiring, you're outsourcing the hiring, or you're going to be training your own staff.
It's a great question. We, I encourage everybody to go onto the website. We have a page in there where you can sign up and get involved. We see the barrier to entry in this space in terms of service delivery really being the training of practitioners. So we definitely we are providing our own training, as well as welcome a lot of trained practitioners as well. We have some fairly aggressive growth plans for our Numinus Health division for this year, and a big part of that is making sure that we've got the people and trained people to be able to deliver the therapy if and when it's available. Currently
listed as NUMI on the Venture Exchange here in Toronto, Payton Nyquvest is CEO and chairman of Numinus Wellness Incorporated. A pleasure, Payton. We look forward to an update in the future.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me.
Our pleasure. There you go, guys. Look at Numinous Wellness Incorporated, another new entrant into the psychedelic space. Back over to you.
Thanks very much, Brennan. Like, I love you guys out there, thoughtful questions, getting something out of this, which is exactly the idea, and another fantastic interview as always. I mean, I don't know where else, you get CEOs, chairman, founders of companies in interesting industries, and you're able to learn a little bit about it. I know I learn a heck of a lot because, I'm not very well versed in that space at all. And we give you the active trades and some of the fantastic ideas. I mean, you really can't say enough about, like the active trading in DraftKings, and then, something like SOS, being able to play in both directions with shorts off the open, with longs off the move. In the morning, there was some shorts off the bottoms as well, and then now a bit of a long breakout happening here. So try to give you guys a bit of everything. I know we only have 5 minutes to go, so I'm going to quickly review just a couple of things that I still have on. That PFMT, like I said, I didn't really get that last entry point into 230, but I'm starting to take it off at these targets that I've had out the entire time, guys. It broke VWAP 220s. These are all like shorts in the 228 to like the 231 range. And then, some at 16, got some out in 13, 12s. If it dips down a couple of cents here, I'll get hit at 206 on the way down to 2 even. So some patience to be played on the short in this particular name, guys. And SOS did give a spike into 495. I didn't get it all out, got just over half of it out, didn't quite get to $5. Now sort of leveling off. That 77 breakout, if it wants to consolidate above that price, maybe it's going to be an add on a break of like an 85 to the upside here. But I'm not going to dip into this more unless it goes back down to VWAP now that we've taken some profit off. So a couple of good ones on. I mean, AGA bar, IMALAG bar, and CSCW, both in the money, but I've gone over those ad nauseum here. I know you got a couple of nice ones on there, and especially that Viacom, which has been, those free fall Friday stocks have all been pretty fantastic there, Sean.
Yeah. Oh, Brendan, quickly, bud.
I was just going to show some earnings, guys. Sean, did you have something you wanted to throw in?
Oh, no, I just wanted, that I was out of that DraftKings there on that 60-25 break. So just giving everyone a little bit of an update there that we did. We let it go all the way, a little silly. We didn't have too much more on, but there it is, that 60-25 break. We talked about trading around the quarters. So congratulations anybody with that trade. And I just want to check back on NEO quickly. It's still hovering. It goes up as high as 37.60. This stock up 4%. Put this on your watch list. Do some homework tonight about NEO, because what a great move. 50 million shares today.
All right. I was thinking last night, man, it's going to be nice to get into April and get some earnings, some actual earnings coming through once again as we get into earnings season. Then I saw this board and thought, hey, maybe we still have some things that are worth looking at. I mean, we have Mark Roberts tomorrow. He's been talking about Lulu for the past couple of weeks, guys.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets where. Oh, there's Lulu. Yeah, I should know that logo. I mean, Jesus, how many pairs of pants do we own with Lulu? Let's check out the Lulu. I mean, I like Chewy there as well. I just fired an email off to Daniel Shea. We go back and forth with Chewy all the time, so follow me on Twitter if you want to get that answer. But okay, here's Lululemon today, 0.96, not doing anything today, waiting for those earnings. And I think this is obviously why Mark likes it. I mean, if you've liked it lately, you've been killed. But if you've bought some of these bottoms around 300, it seems to be some nice little areas there, 300 and change. The only thing I wonder about, and remember I talked about Nike, when Mark didn't like it, I liked Nike downside here at 124, 125. It's not like it's up that much, but I worry about the same type of things that sent this stock spiraling down, and that was China. So I'm not sure on, and again, I have to admit this, I don't know what Lulu's exposure is down there in China, but to me, that's the upside risk there. The downside risk of the Lulu report is something about China and slowing down production due to the, some of the government rhetoric there. So I like Lulu, but I like Nike better. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
I think a lot of it had to do with Nike giving you those good prices. Watch out for BlackBerry too, guys, because on the daily chart, it's just right at this like 80-80 support and then previous breakout level. But below that price, if the report isn't a banger, and it probably needs to be, quite frankly, not to retest back down to like 660 to 7 even. So just from a risk to reward standpoint, you've seen some of those meme stocks come back in. BlackBerry's on the precipice, and that plays both ways. If it's going to hold that support, you have a potential for a 10 break into 12. But inside of that range, you're about to get chopped up. I would certainly expect, and risk off isn't a horrible idea going into that, because if it's going to make a run, usually you can get back into it. Wowzers. I always get to see the National Day before we throw it to Valeria here, so I'll leave this one to you here, Miss V in the North Carolina Blue.
Thank you, Neil. And hey, guys, thank you very much for trading with us today. I wish you a great rest of the day. Thank you for all the support. And please don't leave without giving us your like. We need just 100 more likes to get 2,000 of them. Guys, thank you very much for all the compliments about hair. And happy National Turkey Neck Soup, everyone.
I'm gonna go out on a
Ta-da.
limb. I could be wrong about this, but I'm gonna guess that the trades, the learning experience, and the fun that we've had is more exciting than the turkey neck soup day, which I don't know. I've never had turkey neck soup. I don't think any of the.
It's just turkey soup. I mean, you
No,
just,
yeah, exactly.
just use the neck for some flavor there. But yeah, I'm down with that. I mean, the mother-in-law makes leftover soup and whatnot when you have turkey around the festive. I mean, and now we have.
Did you say Festivus?
Yeah, I actually saw the Seinfeld last night.
Yeah.
Was Festivus for the rest of us there. But yeah, so if you want to enjoy Festivus, you can enjoy that this weekend. Oh, also Good Friday.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not here Good Friday, so we do have a break. Tomorrow's our is today Wednesday?
What day is today?
What day is today?
Tuesday?
Tuesday? I don't know. Anyways, Thursday's our last show this week. No, none of us here as we look around. We have no idea what day it is. But I believe it's Tuesday, so join us for the next couple days. We're off on Friday, but it's been a good day for us today, man. A lot of winners. The only negative stock for me, I just took it on, was actually WFC, which went to the downside. So we'll watch that. But yeah, good show today. And come back tomorrow as it's middle of the week, apparently.
You better believe. Apparently, it's Hump Day tomorrow, as we're all learning here. But it's a fantastic show. Thanks again. Thanks for the thoughtful questions that we saw in the chat. Being able to get them, to our guest here. So as always, you know what we got to do for the entire team. For Miss V, looking good with the new hair, fantastic. My man Sean Cantina, Brennan Wickens. I'll give a shout out to Randy for the Timbits in the morning. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.